we started off just like that to make this. First, first off, may I have permission from the elders to speak? Thank you. I'll call out as I go. Had to have roots. Oh, after I call them out, we're going to say Ashe. Had to have roots. Ashe. Ashe. Amen. Ashe. Ashe.
John Henry Clark.
Malcolm X.
Harold Muhammad. Amos Wilson.
Dr. Khalid.
Amos Wilson.
So we're not going to make this long. We had to start it out the right way. We ran it late, and I will now. Well, first, before that, I'm supposed to give the community. We're running late, so I have to go quick. But we're supposed to give the community a call. We had a lot of things going on with Trayvon Martin right here in this recent, and people are up in arms and ready to do things. And some of us already know what we need to do, and have been working on this for years. One thing that I want to put out is that we're working on the Necker Family Project. We're working on getting a school here, an African-centered school based on science and arts for child excellence and genius, not playing with it. So we're organizing for that, and anyone who wants to be a part of that, contact me. My name is Afia. And we're doing serious work on getting these curriculums, buildings, and things situated so that we can have a school for our youth here in Arkansas. Some of our cities to go. Also, we're also having a community study group coming together on Sunday. So that's the community call out for organization. And without further ado, I will turn this over to the ministers. Peace, hotel people. Hotel.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out. We have to apologize for the delay. My name is Duke, and I'm going to be emceeing today. Before we get started, I want to ask everyone to turn their cell phones off, either on vibrate or silent. We want to be respectful. On trash, please dispose of it in the proper receptacles when you leave. Let's kind of clean up after ourselves. Okay, bringing to you Dr. Umar Johnson, who is a blood kinsman to the 19th century abolitionist and orator Frederick Douglass. He is one of the most sought-after black male speakers in the nation. He's a nationally certified school psychologist, featured on the documentaries Hidden Color 1 and 2. And he also has books and paraphernalia products for sale. So I'm not going to extend this any longer because we want to get as much information as possible. So with no further ado, Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson.
Testing one. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here in Little Rock for the first time. Being a psychologist and an educator, I often speak on and like to remind people of the significance of the Little Rock Nine, the 1957 school desegregation attempt, because out of that school desegregation effort in Little Rock and other places around the country, that actually led to my work as a school psychologist and actually gave birth to special education, which we're going to talk about today. I'm a school psychologist, and my doctorate is in clinical psychology. I'm also a former school administrator, also trained as a political scientist, and obviously I'm a Pan-Africanist and a Garveyite. What I want to do today is I want to make sure you all walk out of here understanding exactly what the miseducation machine is, how it operates, but more importantly, what you can do to protect your sons and daughters from special education exploitation and ADHD and psychiatric abuse. Ritalin is nothing to play with. Adderall is nothing to play with. Cyclert is nothing to play with. Risperdal, Prozac, Paxil, Depakote, Vyvanse, they're nothing to play with. But unfortunately, too many African parents are giving our children these medications simply because middle-class white female teachers are telling you to do so. I need you to understand that your child's teacher is not a psychologist. Your child's teacher is not a psychiatrist. They are trained to teach, and many of them can't even do that well. So you're taking advice from an educator on mental health. If you need to get your car fixed, you don't go to a plumber. If you have an electrical problem, you don't go to a baker. If you want to get your hair cut, you don't go to a bricklayer. You go to someone with expertise in the area that you need. So stop listening to educators who are telling you that your son needs medication in order to receive an education. Now think about that for a second. You don't need medication to work. You don't need medication to drive. You don't need medication for most visits to the hospital. But to tell you that your children need medication in order to get an education. I feel a fan on me. Where that's coming from? Nah, put it to the audience. I'm a Leo. Give me the heat. Any Leos in the house? Yes, yes, yes. This is our month. August 21st right here. Marcus Garvey, August 17th. Edward Wilmot Blyden, grandfather Pan-Africanism, August 3rd. The Haitian Revolution, August the 22nd. The George Jackson prison martyrdom, August the 21st. For those of you who are Christian, the original birthday of Jesus Christ was August the 21st. All right. So this is our month. Don't mean we special. It just means it's our month. But anyway, I want to make sure you get those weapons. And then I want you to make sure you purchase my book. Not because it's mine. And not because of finances. But that book is the only book in existence that teaches you how to fight special ed. We got a lot of black educators and psychologists who write about school psychology and special ed, but they don't evaluate in the schools. I do. They don't diagnose learning disabilities. I do. They don't diagnose autism and emotional disturbance in the also popular ain't no daddy at home disorder. ADHD. 85% of black boys on stimulant medication don't have a father figure in their lives. How much of this is psychiatric and how much of this is due to the war on black men? They take the father out the house, send him to jail. The boy is now craving masculine energy. But rather than give him his father back, we're going to give him drugs. The same drugs that sent his father to jail, we're going to give it to him so he can sit still long enough to be miseducated by white women. And you as parents are collaborators in this experiment. Anybody who parked their car in the Family Dollar needs to move it, or you're about to get towed real quick. So they do that down here too, huh? I thought that was a New York, Philly, New Jersey.
You got me.
Okay.
All right, you better get on it. They said they don't care if it's a Hugo, caddy truck, a two-wheeler, tricycle, skateboard. They take it. So anyway, brothers and sisters, I don't want to delay any longer. Yesterday, we went to the mall before we went out to dinner. What was the name of that place we ate at? The Fishboat. That was the dinner place, right? Off the Hook. Best soul food I had in a minute. This is a book that you're going to need after you buy mine. I'm saying that on purpose because you need to read mine to understand this. But if you're raising a black child, you need this. This is the new, brand new, only a few weeks old, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. This is the Bible of psychology and the Bible of psychiatry. Everything we diagnose comes out of this book. We're up to the 5th edition. We've been using the 4th edition for the last 10 to 15 years. Every 10 to 15 years we get a new Bible. You need this because in this book is the criteria for ADHD. In this book is the criteria for conduct disorder. In this book is the criteria for oppositional defiant disorder, and depression and schizophrenia, and the #1 most diagnosed condition in black folks, bipolar. Now, the DSM-2 used to have a diagnosis in here called homosexuality. They took it out with the DSM-3. The DSM-3 had a diagnosis called ADD, attention deficit disorder. DSM-4 took it out. Now there's only ADHD, primarily hyper, primarily inattentive, or combined. Question of the day: why did they take ADD out of DSM-4 and leave us with an ADHD only? Because there's no drug. There's no drug. There's no drug that can make your child pay attention. So the drug companies were losing money on the ADD diagnosis. So they said, kill it and make all the kids ADHD. Ain't no daddy at home disorder. And if the daddy is home, then it ain't no damn discipline at home disorder. Because there's a lot of fathers in the house, but you're not raising them boys correctly. And my mothers, the second to the last chapter in my book that you're going to get today is entitled How to Deal with Disruptive Behavior Without Medication. You don't need medication to teach your sons how to behave. And don't use the fact that you're a mother as an excuse. The reason why you're having a difficult time is because you are inconsistent with your discipline routine. It has nothing to do with being male or female. It's about consistency and commitment. Now, mothers who are single mothers, I want to thank you for the great job y'all been doing raising them boys by yourself, because that should not be your responsibility. The black men in Little Rock and Arkansas and Oklahoma should be stepping up to help you raise those boys. And they should not have to wait for you to ask them to help you out. Black men, she should not have to break breath to find a role model for her son. You should be going up to sisters, raising boys, asking, how can you help? Now at the same time, sisters, you gotta be willing to let the brothers be men to your boys. Because some of you, without even knowing it, are psychologically castrating and effeminizing your sons. And you're turning your boys into the exact type of men you can't stand yourself. And then when he's 25 years old messing up another sister's life, you say he's just like his daddy. But his daddy ain't been there. No, he's just like his mother. You mean. So black women have to start looking at other black women for the terrible men that you got. For those few, because we know most brothers in Little Rock are all right. We're going to talk about relationships on the end, but we're going to deal with the children first. Now, I want to read, let me back up for a second. Mothers who don't have men in the house, I need you to make an extra effort not to objectify your oldest son as your man. Psychologically, women who don't have men turn their oldest son into their husband, not sexually, psychologically. And once you objectify your oldest boy as the man of the house, he's now your equal, which means he can no longer be held accountable by you.
Come on, brother.
And your oldest son can end up punishing you by withholding his emotional support whenever you make him angry. How many of us know boys who run their mother's lives? sexually objectifying your son. Now, I want to open up this book, and it cost me $69 for this piece of garbage. That's how much they cost. DSM-4 was only $35 for the pocket size. DSM-5 is $70. Now let's look at the economics of this. Because one thing we know about white supremacy is that capitalism and racism go hand in hand. Racism keeps you oppressed. Capitalism makes money off of you while you are oppressed. So for every problem black folks got in Arkansas, you got to ask yourself, how is the European cashing in on this? Now every psychologist has to buy this book. Every psychiatrist, every social worker, every professional counselor, every graduate and undergraduate mental health student in America. You're talking about easily 5 million people have to buy this $69 book. $69 times 5 million people is how much money they made already. You think that's something? Let's look at special education in Little Rock. Every time I evaluate one of your children and put them in special ed for the learning disability, or special ed for autism, or special ed for intellectual disability / mental retardation, or special ed for emotional disturbance, or special ed for deafness or blindness or traumatic brain injury or orthopedic impairment or other health impairment or speech and language impairment or developmental delay. Every time I put one of your babies in special ed, the school gets twice the amount of money for the special ed children. I need y'all to understand special ed is not a program to help no damn body. That's a lie. Special ed is a waiting cell for black boys that white women don't want to teach until they're old enough to drop out, go to jail, or get killed. Special ed is a business. Let me make it real plain. In Arkansas, the state spends on average $6,500 per pupil in public and charter school. Black or white, $6,500 per pupil. Once your son get that label on him, he ain't worth $6,500 a year no more. He worth 13 grand. And they get that 13 grand each and every year he's in special ed. So let's say your son is in 2nd grade and you let somebody diagnose him with a learning disability. Let me say that again. You let. I cannot evaluate your child without your written permission. These white psychologists in Little Rock, they cannot test your child without your permission. You got to give your consent. So there's 2 million black kids in special ed in America. That means there's 2 million black parents who signed their kids away. Now I'm not going to put you all in the same boat. Some of you got children who got legitimate disabilities. Some of your children are autistic. Some of your children do have speech and language impairments. Some of you got young folk who are moderate or severe intellectual disability. We do have blind and deaf black children. We do have orthopedically impaired black children. But I want to focus on the big black 4. The big black 4. Specific learning disability. Emotional disturbance. Mild mental retardation. And OHI for ain't no daddy at home disorder. Now what separates emotional disturbance, mild mental retardation, the learning disability, and other health impairment for OHI, ADHD, how does that differ from blind, from being deaf, from a traumatic brain injury, from a speech and language impairment, from an orthopedic impairment? Do you know what makes them different? You can prove blindness. You can prove deafness. You can prove traumatic brain impairment. You can prove orthopedic impairment. You can prove speech and language. If a child is stuttering, if a child got a lazy tongue, you don't need 6 years of grad school to tell that the child needs some help. But when somebody tells you your child is learning disabled, when somebody say they got a reading disability, that fan's still hitting me. I need to move it back a little bit. Because I get bronchitis. I'll be sick as a dog in here. There we go, we good. They say your grandson got a writing disability. You know what makes that different? I can't prove it. When the psychologist evaluates your child for anything in this book, if you remember nothing else I say here today, you remember this. These are opinions. These are not facts. They can be wrong. And if it's a black kid being tested by a white man, you can pretty much bet it's wrong. But some of y'all don't have a problem with the misdiagnosis because you want that crazy check. Some of y'all hustling your kids for $700 a month. Some of y'all send your kids to my office and tell them to play dumb in front of Dr. Umar so I can get that check. Because the dumber they are, the more money you get. This is the reality.
Yes, sir.
See, the school system has a rite of passage for black boys. 5 stages. First, we're going to miseducate them from pre-K to about 3rd grade. What is miseducation about? It's about teaching a black boy to hate himself as an African, to love white people as Europeans. Right. And if we can influence him to adopt a sexually confused lifestyle.
Right. Come on.
Pre-K to 3rd.
Come on.
From 4th to 7th, we're going to special educate with your permission. From 7th through 9th, we're going to psychiatrically medicate with your permission. In high school, we're going to juvenile incarcerate. And by his 35th birthday, 1 out of every 4 black boys will be exterminated. That's the rites of passage that they got for us. You wonder why every state in America spends more money on prisons than they do on schools? Because at the end of slavery, the American government decided that this country would never again rely on black labor as the foundation for American capitalism. That's what the immigration bill is about. You want to know what it's about? Making sure we got enough Latinos and East Indians and Arabs and Koreans to work, because we don't want to put black men to work. Put them out of work, force them into crime, send them to jail, and you reduce their numbers. Jail is birth control. Homosexuality is birth control. And you got to understand what you're dealing with. But a lot of y'all running around fighting the Latino struggle.
Come on.
Running around fighting the homosexual struggle. We minorities. Where the hell was they when you was getting dog sicked on you? Where was the Latinos and Mexicans and gay white people in 1957 when them 9 students were trying to bust the doors open at Central High School? Where was they at then? I'll tell you where they was. They hid in the background. Let you stand out front and do all the marching. All the fight, you did all the dying. And when the Civil Rights Bill got passed in '64, instead of putting rights for black people, they said rights for minorities. And by doing that, they allowed people who didn't even participate in your struggle to reap the benefits of your blood, sweat, and tears. See, the problem we got, and we got to fix it. We got a problem being unapologetically African.
Come on.
We're ashamed to say that when I speak, I'm speaking for black people only. I'm not speaking against the Jew. I'm not speaking against the Latino or the Arab or the East Indian. The East Indian and the Arab and the Asian can't stand my guts any more than the European can. Understand something about your slavery. It's the only one in world history where the whole world participated. Everybody gained something from it. Only slavery ever like that. It's the only one where nobody did a damn thing about it. It's the only one that codified your inhumanity by law. You got to understand what that means for a second now. Only your slavery said that you were not even human beings. You're talking about fighting for equality. How about fighting to be recognized as a person? And most of us still don't recognize each other's humanity. And that's why the #1 killer of black men on the face of the earth is other black men. We still continue to dehumanize each other. Black men have sexually objectified the black woman as a sex tool only. When she walks into a room, you don't see a thinking human being. You see breasts, buttocks, hips.
Come on now.
And unfortunately, black woman, you have objectified the black man as a financial machine only.
Yeah, right.
So when he walks in the room, how much is he worth? What does he make? How much does he earn? So we are still interacting with each other as men and women on a European concept.
Come on now.
And you wonder why we have so much trouble. Let's talk about the history of miseducation. But before I do, I want to read you the criteria for ADHD real quick. This is going to blow your damn mind. Now, this is the new book. Where we at? All right. Listen up. Fails to give close attention to detail. Has difficulty sustaining attention when he's expected to be focused. Does not listen when spoken to directly. Does not follow through on instructions. Has difficulty organizing tasks. Avoids, dislikes, or is reluctant to engage in tasks that require sustained mental effort. Loses things necessary for tasks to be completed. Is easily distracted. Is awful forgetful. Fidgets or taps with his hands or his feet. Squirms in his seat. Leaves his seat when he should remain seated. Runs or climbs excessively. Is unable to play quietly. I'm reading from the new damn book. And y'all love white people, so stop groaning. You love them! Is often on the go, talks excessively, blurts out answers, has difficulty waiting for their turn, and interrupts other people when they talk. Can I ask you a question? Have you ever been to a black community meeting? Can I ask you a question? Have you ever been married? Can I ask you a question? Is there any human being walking this earth, blue, black, or purple, who don't meet this criteria at least 7 days out the week? And that's what they use to put your kids on kitty crack. Kitty crack. I'm not joking. The United States federal government, Department of Drug Enforcement, the DEA, classifies methylphenidate, which is the chemical name that's sold as Ritalin, as a Schedule B drug, parents. That means Ritalin is in the same category as cocaine and opium. If you don't believe me, go to the library Monday and look up Schedule 2 DEA. Ritalin is classified by this government to be just as dangerous and just as addictive as cocaine and opium. And y'all give this to your son, some of you, 2, 3, 4 times a day. They take a pill for being hyper. They take another pill for being ADHD. They take another pill for being mad at white people. How the hell are you going to give me a pill for being mad at my oppressor? With your permission, the whole mental health system is based on financial exploitation. I evaluate your son, and I say, your son got a problem, I get a certain amount of money from your HMO, medical insurance. I say he needs therapy, I get a little bit more. I say he needs drugs, I get a little bit more. And if I say he needs residential treatment, I just hit the damn jackpot. Listen to me clearly. We don't get paid unless we diagnose something. So you come to a psychologist asking if my son got a problem, you damn right, because I need a check. I need y'all to understand how this thing works. Let's talk about the history of psychology and psychiatry. Some things you probably don't know. When we were enslaved, drapetomania was a diagnosis that was given to enslaved blacks. This is real history here. It was created by a white racist psychiatrist in New Orleans, Louisiana. In fact, last time I spoke in New Orleans, we went to the museum and they had a big exhibit on Dr. Samuel Cartwright's invention of drapetomania, a psychological disorder given to blacks who ran away from their master. Wanting to be free was a damn disease. And I would argue it still is. So if you was Frederick Douglass or Harriet Tubman, if you was Sojourner Truth or Henry Highland Garnett, if you was Nat Turner or Gabriel Prosser or Denmark Vesey, if you was Toussaint L'Ouverture or Henry Christophe or Bookman Dada or Chicha Dessalines, you was considered insane for thinking you can outsmart white people.
Come on now, preach.
And guess what the treatment for drapetomania was? Don't believe me. Go to the library and do the research. It's there. The treatment for drapetomania, according to Dr. Cartwright, was to whip the living hell out the slave. That was their Ritalin back then. And then we come up to Philadelphia. Another white supremacist by the name of Dr. Benjamin Rush. You should know his name. He was one of the signers of the American Declaration of Independence. He was once president of the American Anti-Slavery Society. Ain't that funny? And then he was chief of medicine at Pennsylvania Hospital. He came up with another psychological illness called nigritude. This is real. He said black people people have an intellectual debilitating disease that turns their skin black and renders the brain useless. And he said, the darker you are, the dumber you are. And he told white people, don't touch black skin, because he taught that the melanin was contagious. That's why they throw their money at you at the cash register. Don't want to put it in your hands. You got your hand out, they want to put the dollar down and put the change on it. Next time, keep the dollars, baby, but throw the change in their face. Keep the dollars. During Reconstruction, right after slavery, free blacks who tried to stand up and fight. This is the final years of slavery and during Reconstruction when freedom came. Revolutionary blacks, you know what they did with us? They would diagnose you as insane. This was a diagnosis back then. As was neuron and imbecile. Mental retardation replaced imbecile. But if you was a revolutionary black, they would get you evaluated, diagnose you as insane, and put you in a mental asylum. And that's how they dealt with you. Now here's my question. What's worse? Criminal incarceration or mental incarceration? Mental, let me tell you why. If you get charged with a crime, you got a right to three things. You might not get it, but you got a right to it. One is an attorney. Another is a speedy trial. A third, a jury of your peers. But when you get escorted to the mental hospital by the police or the crisis unit, non-voluntary mental health committal, you don't have a right to an attorney. You don't have a right to a speedy trial. And you don't have a right to a jury. If the doctors don't want to let you out and you want to get out, there's a judge assigned to every mental health hospital in America. Did y'all hear that? There's a judge assigned to every mental health hospital in America. If you want to get out on your own recognizance, the judge comes. And in the basement of most mental health hospitals, there's a judge's chamber, a courtroom, for you to go in and argue why we should let you out. And your doctor argues against you. And you don't have a right to a jury, a lawyer, or nothing. And if the judge decides that we think you're too crazy to leave, that's where you stay. In fact, there's a good book called The Politics of Schizophrenia. You should read it. Written about the Black Panther and Black liberation armies of the 60s and 70s. The book talks about how a lot of our freedom fighters was locked up against their will in mental hospitals because the government could do a better job keeping them off the streets that way than they ever could with criminal court. Why is this important to y'all? Because some of y'all playing crazy to get a check.
Yep. Come on.
I know what y'all do, because y'all call me up. Pop do, or you think you can, say I'm a little off so I can get that money. But what you fail to realize is in most states there's laws on the books that allow the police to arrest anybody who's been prescribed medication and not taking it. Right. You also need to know that once you let yourself get diagnosed as crazy, you have now opened the door for Child Protective Services. Child Protective Services to come in and say, excuse me, Mr. Johnson, you was diagnosed with major depression. Your daughter's coming to school crying. And we think that you might not be able at this time to raise her. So the state has decided to take her from you and give her to a foster parent and see how you recover. And if you don't recover up to our expectation, we're going to make her a permanent adoptive child. And then we're going to give her to a sexually confused couple.
There you go. There it is. That's it.
I'm telling you what I know, I live it every day. They are taking black kids out of your heterosexual home and putting them in homosexual homes. Remember that. Sexually confused couples can't have kids. So if they want them, they got to adopt them. And the black kids appear to be earmarked for the gay couples. Come on. They take them from your house for some foolishness and then put them in a house where they can learn how great it is to grow up with two daddies or two mommies. Come on now. I know because the kids come to me complaining, Dr. Umar, I don't like living where I'm living, but I'd rather be here than at home when I used to get molested by my foster brother. And do you know black people are least likely to adopt our own children? Yep. Shame on us. You are the least likely to adopt a child who looks like you. Right. Soon when the newborns come, everybody wants the black newborns because they're gorgeous. they still got good hair. And by the time they leave, when they kick them the hell back, because the naps is back. So everybody want the newborn black babies, especially the white people. They love that little baby. Who's the hardest child to get adopted in America? Blacks 13 to 17. Nobody want our teenagers. Oh, hell no. You don't want them. White people don't want them. So you know what they do? They run away from the group homes. And they become the criminals in the street. So you got to understand something. A lot of the crime we got is our own making. We turned our back on them kids. We could have helped them, but we didn't. And now they robbing us. And now you can't walk down the street at night because of your own karma. Let's be clear about that. I don't care how many kids you got, everybody in here should consider adopting a child. If you can't adopt, be a foster parent. If you can't be a foster parent, be an emergency placement parent. Do you know what that is? That's if I got to take a kid out of a house because he was sexually abused by his uncle. I got to put him somewhere until I can find him a more permanent placement. That will be you. I'll call you up 2 o'clock in the morning. Look, this young man, he's 8, he needs a home. Can we bring him to you? We're looking for a permanent place. You say, sure. Come to your house. He might be there for a couple hours, might be there for a couple weeks. At least you can do that. They pay you for it. Not that you should be doing this for money, but you do get compensated for your time. So all of us need to consider doing that because you think you got homosexuality now, you ain't got nothing yet. Okay, they breeding this stuff. And they giving out babies to sexually confused couples to make sure they grow up with that type of a mindset. You better start looking at your children's textbooks because in the textbooks, they now got gay families in the cartoons. But you don't even look in there, so you don't even know. California right now, they have mandatory gay history in the public schools. New York City incorporated into the social studies curriculum. And you better check right here because most of the states are putting it in the curriculum and they're not even telling you what's in there. All the high schools got gay and lesbian clubs. And one of the teachers is the faculty advisor. It is legal because under Obama, homosexuality became a civil right. Can I ask you a question? How does something go from mental illness in 1972 to civil right in 2013? How is it that the homosexuals got more rights in 4 years than you got in 400?
Come on now.
Now let me clarify. I work with homosexual and lesbian teens. So I don't believe in hating nobody. Because everybody in here suffers from post-traumatic slavery disorder. They just got the sexual type. So if I'm not going to hurt you for your sickness, because you got one, I'm not going to hurt them either. But I need them to understand that I can't tolerate that type of lifestyle either. I had a homosexual brother call me up one day. He said, Dr. Umar, I love your work. I follow you, man. I listen to you at the job, in the house. Listen to you when I'm taking my shower. I said, But he said, I got a question. I'm with you on Pan-Africanism. But I need you to explain to me why I and my homosexual and lesbian brethren cannot be nationalists. Are you telling me I cannot be gay and nationalist? I said, no. He said, explain it. I said, sure. I said, the word nationalism comes from the same root as the word nature. It means to procreate, to reproduce, to proliferate, to progenitate. So if you as a homosexual are engaging in a lifestyle that prevents the next generation of Africans from being born, then your lifestyle is about death. Nationalism is about life. You cannot be both at the same time. I said, wow, I never looked at it like that. I said, well, now you have. And you ready for your masculinization therapy? I'm here for you. But brothers and sisters, another reason why I can't repudiate them, I repudiate the behavior. But I can't repudiate the African because I know at the heart, their essence is divinity. But I also know that the reason why most of them are gay and lesbian is because some of y'all love leaving your kids with other people. Tonight is Saturday, club night. I got clubs in Arkansas. Cows and horses. of our kids who are sexually abused are abused by people who know them. Most of the time it's relatives. And it's not always men. Women molest too. Okay? Because I deal with the cases. And most of our kids, most gay boys that I've ever worked with were molested by male relatives prior to their 13th birthday. Most of the lesbian girls were molested by men too prior to their 13th birthday, or grew up in homes where they saw their mothers get physically abused by men. And created a hatred for the black man. So much so that she wants to spend the rest of her life with a woman because loving a black man is dangerous to my health. And our boys grow up looking for daddy. I need that masculine energy in my life. And so they run into a father figure who's providing them with that masculine energy. Eddie Wrong, Jerry Sandusky, providing them with that masculine energy, and then they manipulate it into a sexual escapade. Because they know the boys crave the father figure. And then it turns into sexual molestation. These kids didn't wake up that way. Nobody black was born that way. That's propaganda. Okay? Homosexuality grows out of Greco-Roman culture, where most of the guys was gay. Agape and Zeus and Apollo. Read the myths. Talks about how they like playing with boys when they wasn't doing their godly duties. Roman Catholic Church based on the belief that the woman is the handmaiden of the devil. You made Adam bite from the tree, so use the devil. So since I'm a guy, if I need to have sex, I'm not going to touch a devil. I'd rather touch another God. And that's why you got all that pedophilia running through the Roman Catholic Church. Why they don't want the woman? What's wrong with a pastor being married? Jesus was, because the Greco-Roman culture is based on hatred for the woman. And unfortunately, we as black men have sucked it up, and we've sucked it up in our religions too. That's right. Domestic violence is at an all-time high in the black community. Everybody in here knows a black woman getting beat on by her husband, and the pastor won't do a damn thing about it because he's a coward. The E-man won't do a damn thing about it because he's a coward. All you Afrocentrics won't do a damn thing about it because you're a coward too. How many black women got to suffer before we stand up and do something about this? And black women, y'all need to do a better job of protecting your sisters too. Because some of y'all know they're getting beat on, but you don't want to give them a helping hand. They can't sleep on your couch because you got a man, and you want to make sure she ain't baking cookies with your husband when you at work. So she got to keep on getting beat in her house. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't like what's happening, but I don't want to hear what Henry. Okay? If Henry want to bake a cookie, Henry gonna bake a cookie any damn way. And that's what you gonna do. Whether he want oatmeal raisin, chocolate chip, fudge, brownie, salt batch. If he's a cookie monster, he's gonna be a cookie monster anyway. Okay? But that's the last lecture. Let me come back on. Schizophrenia. Why are black people more likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia than white people? Especially if you come from the Caribbean. Because as African people, we deal with spirit. That's what the word Africa means. Africa, from God's soul. So it's normal for you to get a visit at home once in a while from a deceased relative. That's African culture. But that's not white psychology. So when you go to the psychiatrist to talk about your depression or drug abuse, and you say, well, my great-grandma told me I need to stop last night. And the doctor said, wait a minute, your great-grandmother, how old is she? Well, she died about 70 years ago. Well, if she died about 70 years ago, how could she tell you to stop? Because she came in my room, sat on my bed, and said, cut this shit out. White man doesn't understand that because he don't deal with spirit, black people. The word psyche is an African word. They stole it. It means study of the soul. But the European don't believe in soul, so he corrupted it to study of the mind. See, his whole science is based on things he can touch, things he can see, things he can feel, things he can control, and most importantly, things he can sell. He can't do none of the above with spirit. So he denies the existence of it because his arrogance assumes that if it exists, he should be able to manipulate it. And anything he can't, he just assumes doesn't exist. So when you go to a white psychologist talking about deceased relatives, he's going to say you a voodooist. And you should say yes. You want want to get rid of white people? That's all you got to tell. Next time you got to go to court for a traffic ticket, pull out a damn dowel in front of the judge and start sticking it. I didn't run the damn light. It's the one religion white folks scared of because they know we use it to our advantage in slavery. They know what that magic does. What did Napoleon Bonaparte say about the Haitian Revolution? He said, I believe. Now remember that this was white folks' greatest general, lost to a slave general. He said, I believe our defeat at the hands of the Haitians had something to do with that peculiar religion that they practice. Why you think Fidel Castro's still alive today, that Italian white man? You know why? Because he mastered the art of voodoo. Yes, he came to power under voodoo. And for my Christian and Muslim brothers and sisters, it ain't no different than what you believe in. It's just a more direct route to dealing with God. See, the difference between religion and spirituality is that religion assumes it knows every damn thing. Spirituality says we don't know nothing. You find it. See, religion says God is a man. He got testicles and a penis. Spirituality said that the man doesn't birth a damn thing, so if there's a God, it got to be something with a womb because only the womb can bring forth. Religion says only a man can lead. Spirituality says they both can. Religion says the man walks in front of his woman. Spirituality said they walk side by side. Religion says believe in Jesus, believe in Muhammad, believe in God. Spirituality said you ain't got to believe, you can know them personally. Don't give up the religion. I come from a line of preachers. You ain't got to give it up. You ain't got to give up Islam. I was raised in a mosque. It's how you use it that I'm concerned.
That's right.
See, for me as a Pan-Africanist, it don't matter what you believe. Your religion, I respect it. That's not my concern. It's how you think, what type of damn brain you got.
There you go.
If you're a progressive thinking Muslim, a progressive thinking Christian, you could be a progressive thinking Jehovah's Witness. I can work with you if you progressive. There's no be putting out a watchtower every 5 damn minutes. But it's not the religion. People say, well, why did Marcus Garvey lead the largest black organization of modern history? Real simple. He didn't put a religion on it. The Muslims tried to make this a Muslim thing. He said, no. The Christians said, make it a Christian thing. Garvey said, I'm a Christian, but I'm not making this a Christian thing. They said, why? He said, because this is for African people. Anybody can come. You ain't got to believe in this or that. And our problem is we made our religions more important than ourselves. How can what I believe ever be more significant than who I am? This is my being, my essence. Your race is the only thing God chose. Anything else you belong to, you chose it. You a Kappa, you a Q, you a Alpha, you a Beta, you chose that. You a SG Rho, you a Delta, you a AKA, you a Zeta, you chose that. You a Mason, you a L, you chose that. You Seventh-day Adventist, you Sunni, you Nation, you guys and hers, Hebrew, Nawapian, you chose that. But it's only one thing you came out of your mother belonging to, and that's the African race. And you cannot change it. God made you African, you made yourself everything else. So what can be more primordial to what is to my being, my essence? If you give up your Africanity, you give up yourself. Cultural suicide is spiritual suicide. We have to learn to embrace the best of who we are and not give a damn about what nobody thinks about. You got to be unapologetically African. When you go into a meeting in Little Rock and they talking about what they about to do to the schools, what they about to do to the jobs, what they about to do to the institutions, and they start talking about, well, we want to discuss minority affairs. Say no. I'm not interested in talking about minority affairs. I'm interested in talking about black affairs. Don't put me in a boat with them damn Koreans. Don't put me in a boat with the Mexicans because they play a game on you. You say, I don't know if black people got any city contracts in Little Rock this year. They say, well, we gave 10% of the contracts to minorities. And then you say, well, how many of them were black? They said, well, we don't keep statistics on that anymore. All we're required to do by the state is make sure minorities got this. Y'all see that? And that was our fault. In the civil rights movement, aftermath of the civil rights movement, what did they do? They made us take on this minority thing. So now you clump them with white women. How the hell is a white woman a minority? Now they got the homosexuals took over your whole struggle. Yeah. They didn't even got a civil rights. It's all gay now. Okay? And then they make people afraid to say that you don't believe in the lifestyle. Homophobic. Why the hell I got to be afraid to be against?
Yeah. Right.
I got to be afraid to be against. I'm just not into that.
Right.
That's your culture, and you're trying to force it on our kids as a population control strategy. Stop getting into this debate on nature, nurture, sex, marriage rights. This is about black population extermination. If everybody in this room decided to only date somebody with the same reproductive organ, where does the next generation of Black Little Rock come from? They don't get it. It dies when you die. Wake up and see what's going on. Now they got the immigration bill coming in. They're going to bring more Latinos in. And for the record, I want to clarify. Any Latino of African descent who identifies with his race is an African. Okay, I want to be clear about that. I'm talking about the assimilados. Okay? Races in between who know they black but don't want to be black.
Come on.
Okay? Your grandmother, blacker than mine! In 1970, the United States Department of the Census added Hispanic for the first time. That's why when you look on the census now, it says black or Hispanic, not black.
Right.
Well, if Hispanic is not black, why you had to qualify? Because you know Puerto Ricans ain't no different than nobody in this damn room. And most of the Cubans the same way. But because they got a big light-skin supremacy problem, they come here and don't want to identify with us. So what happened was, in the 30s and 40s, the Mexicans and Latinos would check white on the census. White men said, y'all not white? They said, well, we don't want to be black. He said, but y'all not us. So then they said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give you your own term, Hispanic, not black. So if you black and you speak Spanish, you ain't got to be black no more. And then in the year 2000, they came up with another one, biracial, the Tiger Woods lady. Okay? Now, if you got a white ancestor somewhere, you ain't got to be black no more. Then in 2010, they came up with multi-racial. See the games they play with y'all? Because you hate who you are? Now you got biracial, multiracial, Latino, black. I'm not done. Then you got something called Asian Pacific Islander. Anybody used to watch wrestling? Do you remember Jimmy Snooker Fly Snooker? Was that a damn Negro or what? Talking about no damn Pacific Islander? They had an afro like Hendrix. Then they got another one. What's the other one? Something about Southeast Asians. Have you seen any of them? Yeah. Dark-skinned Chinese man with afro. You seen any of them? My point is, brothers and sisters, of the 10 or 12 designees on the census, most of them are black by another name. Because we don't want to be what and who the hell we are. And you black men, stop digging outside your race. It's disrespectful. I hope I'm stepping on your damn feet. Stop! But be clear, not because I hate white women. I won't want nobody disrespecting my two little girls. I'm not going to disrespect the woman of another race.
Come on.
The reason I'm saying you should not be going outside your race is because all we've ever had to back us up 400 years was the black woman. She was good enough in slavery. She was good enough in Reconstruction. She was good enough in the Civil Rights Movement, but she ain't good enough now. What kind of nonsense is that? And then you tell me you can't help who you fall in love with. That's real interesting. That's real interesting. Because for 400 years, your ass wouldn't be caught dead with a white woman because you know what had happened to you. You can help it back then, but but you can't help it now.
Come on.
Michael Jordan. Worth for $500 million. Marries a 35-year-old white model. I heard they're gonna have a white Michael Jordan. Shit is crazy. But anyway, excuse me. Stay with me. Women live longer than men. White women live a lot longer than black men. So if I marry a white woman and I'm worth $500 million, chances are I'm going to leave this earth before she does. We're not wishing nothing on the brother, but in a natural order, you'll be gone and she'll still be here for at least 20 more years. So you leave $500 million to this white woman.
Come on.
Is she going to come to Charlotte, North Carolina and build school for black kids? No. Is she going to come to Little Rock and give y'all some money to open up a black institution? No. She's going to keep that money amongst her own kind. So my problem with interracial marriage ain't no hate. It's that you take our money, ours, give it to people who got enough, and take from those who ain't got nothing. There's no greater act of treason in my book. And most of you, you don't even find the cute ones. If I'm wrong, tell me. Nothing cute about them. You were just happy they was white. That's right. Can't cook. No seasoning whatsoever. I know. 'Cause my great uncle used to have a white woman. Them turkey steaks was damn. So how you do it, Sister, you don't let no man come in God's womb no more after they've been with the oppressor.
No.
Somebody said, get his ass out of here right now. Get that Yankee! If I know what I got to say. Only one out of every 4 black women going to get married in her lifetime. Because of the warm black men, fratricide, us killing each other, homosexuality, and then you just got plain old fashioned crazy ass brothers. Right, sisters?
Right.
So the sisters ain't, not all, no. Most black brothers are good brothers. Most of them are good. I'm talking about that few that seems to be growing every damn day. Okay? But there's a war on black men. Okay? But let me get back. Mentally gifted. Raise your hand if you have a child who was evaluated and classified and diagnosed, and you got a piece of paper saying that your son or daughter was diagnosed as a mentally gifted student in the state of Arkansas. Okay, put your hands down. That was about 6 people. Now, I want you to raise your hand if you are the parent of a black child, or if you were a black child at one point before, and you're probably a white adult now, but see, I'm trying to get on Oprah. See, I know some people who know some people who know some people. And I said, why I ain't been on there yet? No, if I go on Oprah, I can't talk like this. Because I don't want to mess it up. So this is a community town hall. So we stretching out. But if I go on Oprah, I got to wear the 3-piece, so you know the bourgeois look, I can do that. You know, shiny shoes, I can do that. They said, Oprah's scared of you, Doc. I said, why? I'm not going to say none of this. But she need guaranteed. They don't want to get up on there and just come straight. White supremacy. I'm not going to do that, Oprah. I know how you roll. I know. I said, tell Oprah I don't even need 60 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. That's all I want you to do. Ask me one question. Give me 3 minutes to answer. And then flash my website at the bottom. Now you say, Dr. Umar Johnson, why you want to get on Oprah? I'm going to tell y'all why. because I'm a rebel with a cause.
All right.
See, there's a lot of brothers and sisters who do this. They come before you and they talk and they speak. And they do it for fame. They do it for females. But they do it for finances. I'm coming up here to sow seeds. Because I'm going to build a school district for your children. I'm going to build the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Re-Africanization Academy for black boys. I'm going to build Anna Douglas and Amy Jackson Ashwood Re-Africanization Academy for the girls. Because as someone who travels the country, when I leave you guys tomorrow, I got to go speak at Howard University.
All right.
Then I'm going to be in Augusta, Georgia. Then I'm going to Haiti. Then I got Chicago. Then I got San Diego, Oakland, Arizona. Africa coming back up. Just came from London. Everywhere I go, I've never seen an example of an African Center school the way it should be totally.
All right.
I see a lot of Eurocentric schools with a dashiki on them and some drum. But you can't learn.
Right.
African-centered education ain't white school with a dashiki and some Swahili books.
All right.
But that's what I'm seeing everywhere I go. I'm like, I don't see no rich curriculum here based on us. And then parents, I feel sorry for y'all because y'all got to make a decision no black parent should have to make. You know what that is? You got to choose between sending your kid to an Afrocentric school where they're going to learn who they are but might not learn how to count, or send them to a white school where they're going to learn how to count but learn to hate who the hell they are. You should be able to send your child to a school where they can learn how to count and learn who the hell they are. Because I test kids in the Afrocentric schools, and their scores ain't too much better than the damn public schools. I'm saying, for all this drum beating y'all doing, why this boy don't know his basic science concepts? Why this kid over here can't write their damn name? You trying to tell me you teaching them all about King Tut and Ramses and all that, but they can't pass a minimum basic skills test? No, I know the tests are biased. I know that. I give them. But damn it, they should be scoring higher than this. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're just a Eurocentric educator who's using Afrocentricity as a marketing tool to keep your enrollment up. You'd be surprised how many frauds I meet. And they don't like me visiting their school. Don't let him in here. Because they know what I'm going to say, look, this is some bull. So in my school, we're going to teach your kids 6 sciences. In order for African people to go back on top, there's 6 things that got to be taught. These schools are not preparing your child to compete with white folk. They are only educating to work for white people. It's an employment-based education. The education you got and I got, employment-based. Giving your child no damn employment-based education, we had enough of that. So what are the 6 sciences your child is going to be taught at my school? My school is going to be residential. What grade you going to next year, Princess? 6th grade. So when Princess comes to my school, it's going to be residential. Okay? Mommy only be allowed to come once a month. Y'all can't stay on my school because y'all sick. You come one Saturday a month, and you better be off my campus before the sun go down, or I'm going to have school cops and they're going to chain your ass down in the basement if you don't know how to get off my campus. You know why? Because you got post-traumatic slavery disorder. I'm trying to get that out your damn kids. Mothers, you know what you want to do. You want to try to sneak a perm on my campus when I ain't looking. Fathers, you want to sneak your white girlfriend in on your back. You want none of that on my damn campus. White Jesus in your pocket. No! This is a Re-Africanization Academy, damn it! So we're going to teach them agricultural and agronomical science. There's no culture without agriculture. I got 6 degrees but can't grow a damn weed. We was never taught to live off the land. That is a military science you got to learn, because if everything get burned down, you got to know how to cook and eat. But God pushes up from the soil. And then agronomical science, we need your sons and daughters in 3rd grade, they be able to pick up a piece of sand and test it for the nutritional content. That's what I'm talking about. 85% of black people dying are dying from preventable diseases due to poor diet and nutrition. So after we teach them agricultural and agronomical, we're going to teach them dietary and nutritional science. How to eat to live. You know, there's once upon a time in our history, you ate 3 times. That was it. We didn't have a snack culture because we didn't have enough money for no damn snacks. We had one big ass jar of beets. You want some sweets? Get them beet. So we got to teach them that. What's my next science? Spiritual and astrological. We the people of the stars. I'm not going to take their Bible or their Quran away. They can bring them to school, okay? But we're going to teach them the higher science. We're going to give them that old-time religion we had before there was anybody called Moses walking the earth. Before there was anybody called Jesus, Muhammad, and Noah. We are not going to put them down. But we're going to teach them here's another way of dealing with God that don't require you to believe in nobody's fairy tale. Right. Some of y'all look like, no, I can't get away. I like the brother and all that, but no. I need them to know a little bit of voodoo. Right? All voodoo is worship with God, that's all it is. Hollywood done messed y'all all up. So when they come home, and you try to put a perm in your daughter's hair, you gonna pull a root out on your ass and root you. Dr. Umar said, no perm. I'm going to Haiti next month for the first time. August the 16th to the 22nd to celebrate the voodoo ceremony that triggered the Haitian Revolution. My day, August the 21st, 1791. So I'm going to be over there. Okay? Then we got to teach them political and military science. Wait a minute now, what is this about? Let me explain it to you. I went to a military school in central Pennsylvania. Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Same city where my ancestor Frederick Douglass met John Brown before the 1859 raid on Harper's Ferry, Virginia. When I was in 9th grade, they said, Johnson, we're going to make you an officer in the school. You know what they did? They shipped me down to Fort Bragg, North Carolina for basic training and took us out in the middle of the woods and put a machine gun in my arm, a real one, no blanks, and taught me how to shoot on the job. If white people can take black people at 14 and teach them how to kill for white people, I think your son should at least know how to shoot to protect his mother and his sister. We don't want no violence, but we live in America. And if you're paying attention to what's happening, especially after the Zimmerman acquittal, they have given the green light to white people to start shooting and killing black people. So all y'all talking about y'all don't believe in guns, I don't know what the hell you believe in. Because if you think you're going to baptize one of the Europeans coming towards you, you ain't going to wake up and smell coffee. Okay? We're going to teach them how to be responsible with weapons. But in the event that they got to defend their community, they should know how. When Jewish boys pass the bar mitzvah, they teach them how to shoot. I know white boys in 3rd and 4th grade, expert marksmen in 3rd and 4th grade. And you talking about something, we don't deal with guns. Imagine how different history would have been if Christ had a damn Uzi. You ain't ready for my message. Because you got that Willie Lynch chip in you. And then we're going to teach them political science. What do I mean? They're going to know why Obama was made president, and it ain't got a damn thing to do with no blessing. They're going to know that he was made president so that he can recolonize Africa, so the European countries can re-rob the mother continent again. That he was put in office to do what? Push back people black to the days of Jim Crow. So while you busy celebrating Obama, everything our ancestors died for, taken back. He was the illusion of inclusion, and you bought him. Did you see what the Supreme Court did last month? They took out the most important provision in the damn Voting Rights Act of 65 that requires southern states to get approval from the feds before you change any procedure on voting day. Now they can change whatever the hell they want in Arkansas, and they ain't got to get nobody's permission. When Obama announced his candidacy, Latinos sat down with him. What we gonna get? Asia sat down. What we gonna get for our votes? Homosexuals sat down. What we gonna get? And you celebrated. And as a result of celebrating, you got nothing. Let's be clear. You are the reason Zimmerman is free, not the white jury. We created the context of a post-racial America that allowed for race to be taken off the table in this Zimmerman trial. He's free because of your ass. And more white people are going to be free if you don't raise your damn racial consciousness. America has never wanted you. You send your kids to college thinking that they get a master's and a bachelor's and a doctorate. I got all that. And the more you get, the more racism you're going to face. It does not get easier, it gets worse. Unless you want to become the carbon copy of a white man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And the other thing we got to do if we want to fix our condition, we got to fight back against the black bourgeoisie of Little Rock. Probably some of them in the room right now. I don't know y'all, but I know y'all here. Because whenever I come, they send you to report what I said. So tell the governor I said hi. Who's the black bourgeoisie, the black aristocracy, the untalented tenth? The Negropean community. Let me tell you about the Negropean community. It's a group of educated, well-financed blacks whose job is to keep the rest of y'all in y'all damn place. And that's how they earn their stripes with the power structure. Now there's 5 families in the Little Rock black bourgeoisie. Let's start with family number 1. These are the status Negropeans. These are black people with tight toes. I'm the chief of police, captain of the fire department. I'm a city council person. I'm an older person. I'm the vice president of this corporation. I'm the founder of this not-for-profit corporation. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Titles, no power. Their job is to keep you sleeping. If they keep you sleeping, they get grants. And there's no limit to how many grants they can get off of your oppression. And you know what they do with that grant money? They put most of it in their pocket for salaries. And only about 10% go to the damn kids that they wrote the grant for. Telling you what I know. So that's the status Negroes. And then we got to go to the higher education Negropeans. These are the scholars in Arkansas. They work at all your local colleges, community colleges, state colleges, private colleges. And you know what their job is? Whenever conversation comes up about why black kids ain't learning and why so many black boys dropping out in Arkansas and why so many of our young girls not getting their diploma, instead of saying it's because of structural inequalities in the system, they blame hip-hop. They blame single parents. They blame poverty. They blame fathers being in jail. They blame the fact that the teachers ain't being paid enough and the schools are too old and the textbooks are outdated. Is all that stuff relevant? Yes. Is it primary? No. The kids ain't learning because the white women who teaching them are not natural stakeholders in their success. Whether they pass or fail don't mean a damn thing to the suburbs. And then the next group is black people in Arkansas who got a couple dollars. That's right. They got a couple million. That quiet money. Some of them got old money. Some of them first generation money. But they got money to help. But they don't. But whenever white folks need a handout, they the first one to write a check. Urban League needs some money, they got that. Boys and Girls Club needs some money, they got that. Okay? Something going on wrong in the white community, we want to donate. Ku Klux Klan needs some money, they got that. But they'll never use their money to help the everyday black person. Who's the next? Family number 4 of the Negropean community. Blacks in the media in Arkansas. They got radio shows and TV shows. Some of them own their own newspapers and magazines. And instead of writing about unemployment for black men, instead of writing about oppression of black women, instead of writing about the mass incarceration rate, they'll spend a whole damn magazine talking about Kanye West's new baby. Northwest North. What the? Instead of talking about what needs to happen, they'll spend a whole story talking about Michelle Obama's beautiful dress that she wore when she was shopping in London. They'll spend a whole story story on LeBron James's second championship ring. Not a damn thing about the fact that your son got shot, killed by the cops. That's their job. And that leaves us with one family. The religious Negro people.
Don't do it.
Tied up in here.
Hurt some feelings.
Not all pastors, not all imams, but many. When the people come to church on Sunday, they feel some type of way because they don't like the way we're being treated down here. And they come to church on Sunday, tomorrow morning, wanting to make change. They want the pastor to organize and let's stand up and let's march, let's protest, let's be heard. This is God's will. And the Lord is only testing you. And everything will get better as soon as you redevote yourself to Christ. The problem is you ain't been a good Muslim or a good Christian, and that's why blacks in Little Rock is struggling. Don't you listen to Umar Johnson thinking, Christ, I'm the shepherd here. And I will not lead y'all wrong. So I'm telling you to give me your faith. You say you believe in Christ, prove it by believing in me. And by the time Sunday is over, your ass is hypnotized. Then you go home and you catch another week of hell and you go back. See, church is like Novocaine. It's like a drug. When you start feeling bad, you get a cigarette, you get a stick of joint. You start feeling bad, get you a bottle of alcohol. Go shopping, buy a new pocketbook. You do something to get you over. Go eating. Okay? It's a form of self-medication. But like all drugs, it don't change your circumstances.
Come on.
And that's my problem with the black church and the mosque. Y'all don't change circumstances. You simply try to change the way we see them. And I'm not hating on you pastors. Some of y'all do good. But for the ones who do good, I work with you. But for you fake pimp-ass sellouts, I'm not hating. None of y'all out pastor me. I'm going to tell you that right now. I come to your church tomorrow. Don't let me get into the scripture. I had walking out with fists up. Black power this black Christ says, stand up. And I'm not trying to be smart, but somebody help me out. What is it about young black males in the choir? I mean, when they walk in there, they walk in, got a little swag, a little gangster with it, and then y'all put that robe on them. I don't know what the hell going on with the robe. You got a robe. But for those pastors who doing what you're supposed to do, you got my, see, I'm new to Little Rock. It's my first time. So I don't know about y'all yet. And I'm going to form my own opinion. You ain't got to worry about nobody. I want people to tell me what they know, but I'm going to form my own opinion. I don't know who real and who not. But see, one thing I know from our history is black people, and you can't refute this. I don't give a damn how many churches you got. The pimp, the politician, and the preacher has often played musical chairs. Not everybody, just some people. Same man, 3 different uniforms. Not for everybody, just some. And what y'all need to do, for those of y'all who do go to the church and go to the mosque, you have to stop being afraid to ask what's being done with my money. Because I got some sad news for y'all. Your Jesus money is being used to push you out of your own community. Let me break it down for you. This is happening all over America here too. Okay? We all in one church. I'm the pastor. Offering time come up. Y'all all give me some money. We ain't got no black bank in Little Rock. So I'm going to take that down to a white bank. So now we probably putting in the pot maybe $20,000 every Sunday collectively, right? They go to the white bank is adding up. So this a white man come from outside of Little Rock, and he's looking in the ghetto, and he wants to buy a whole strip of the city up so he can remix it into apartments or mansions, raise the property rate up, right? So guess what? He gets his loan on your Jesus money. The money that your pastor put in the bank, they loaning it to white folks to push black folks out the damn city. And then your grandma, who bought a house 10 years ago, she's retired now, fixed income. All of a sudden she get a notice saying the property tax is going up, and if you can't afford it, we moving you out. And now grandma was going crazy wondering what's going on and why ain't nobody doing nothing. And then when grandma do her research, she finds out that it was the money she put in the pot on Sunday that ultimately put her on the street. You got to follow that dollar all the way around. You got to follow it all the way around, black folks. We keep talking about how the Jews rob us, and how the Koreans rob us, and how the East Indians and Latinos rob us. Don't nobody take more money out the hood than the preacher. Don't nobody take more money out the hood than the preacher. And even when they do, at least you get something for it. It might be an egg roll. It might be a small fried rice. It might be some laundry detergent. Might be some clothes. Might be some gas. But you get something. But when you put your money in the pot Sunday, you don't get nothing but hope. My kids can't eat that. They can't live on that. How you want to sell hope? And become a millionaire off a book you ain't even write.
Wow. Hey, come on, man.
I'm going to leave him alone. We hit him enough. We hit him enough.
Boy, you hurt his feelings right now.
Don't ooh-ah. Because for all my ooh-ahs, why you still keep going? See, there's always two people responsible. The hustler and the hustled. Because sooner or later you gotta open up your eyes and recognize that it's a scam being ran. Okay? Mentally gifted. In 1954, right before the Central High School thing hit, the Supreme Court struck down school desegregation, remember? They said you cannot use race in education no more. So the white folks said, if we cannot segregate the blacks from the whites based on skin, we got to come up with another strategy. The same year as Brown versus Board, they invented the mentally gifted movement. So instead of separating black kids and white kids because they was black, they said that the white kids was too smart to be in the same class with the blacks. Okay? That's where gifted came from. It was a racist thing. That's why so few black kids today are classified as gifted. Because first you got to wait for a white teacher to refer a black kid for gifted? Do you really think they want to say that your child is smarter than their own?
Right.
And then they got to take this racist IQ test. And for those of y'all who don't know, the IQ test is an invention of Adolf Hitler's Germany. Let me say that again, because y'all wasn't listening. The IQ test is an invention of Adolf Hitler's Germany. The white man who invented it, his name was William Stern. He invented it in 1912, 2 years before Marcus Garvey gave us the largest black movement of all time. And he did it to justify extermination of blacks and Jews in Germany. And by the way, there was 50,000 Africans who perished in the concentration camps with the European Jews. And I have yet to find a Holocaust museum anywhere in this country that pays respect to the 50,000 of us who perished with them. Still further, in World War II, it was a squadron of black soldiers called the Liberators who freed the Jews from the worst internment camps in Germany. And you don't see a damn picture or mention in any Holocaust museum in this country. That's right. You saved them. But they ain't never saved you. They built the NAACP and Urban League and funded it so you could get out front and die and do the hard work. And once the struggle was over, they took all the damn rights. Now look where the Jews at now. They don't even know you no more. You got a bad habit of caring about other people more than yourself. I'm unapologetically African. I'm not fighting for nobody but black people. I don't give a damn with you or your pastor say. Read the newspaper the other day. You got a couple churches in America paying white people to come to the service. Wow. They pay them to come. Some of y'all still got that white Christ in your house. And Ain't got nothing to do with Christianity. I'm talking about the picture. That picture was painted in 1482 by Leonardo da Vinci at the insistence of the Pope. Ain't got a damn thing to do with what you believe in. That is white supremacy. And do you know who Leonardo said he got to sit in his Christ? His uncle. And he got 12 criminals from a local jail. And if you don't believe me, go to the library and find out for yourself. And you wonder why God don't answer your damn prayers because you're praying to Willie Lynch. You got a criminal and 12 pedophiles hanging on the roof, on the wall. Some of y'all got the small one, some of y'all got the big one, some of y'all got the high definition plug and glow in the dark Christ. If I can make God's greatest people, if I can make God's greatest people see their enemy as their deity, I'll be my slaves forever. That's why at my school won't be none of that. No. They can do the Bible, the Quran. If they want to do a Christian club, I'm allowed. Muslim club, I'm allowed. But you ain't bringing in no foreign images in here. Everything in here is African. And when you go home today, everything on your wall better be African. Right. Some of y'all got pictures of Thomas Jefferson and George Washington on your wall.
Take a picture of mama now.
Justin Timberlake, shit like that. And sisters, listen to me real well. I'm going to tell y'all heard it from me, so I don't want to hear that Umar didn't tell us about this about his school. When your daughter shows up at FDMG on the first day, she cannot have wig, weave, hair color, straightening comb, extensions, sewing. And now y'all say, well, what the hell they got to do with you teaching her science? Let me tell you how. Before I can teach her how to fly airplanes, we're going to have an aviation academy. Before I teach her how to float ships, we're going to have a marine academy. She can get a junior seller's license. Before we teach her how to build computers and fix cars, we got to first teach her how to love herself. Come on. First education is this one. Stay with me. President Obama, Sister Oprah, Condoleezza, Colin Powell. These are brilliant Africans, but they were not taught loyalty to themselves before they was taught what they were learned, and as a result, everything they learned was used against your best interests. So before I teach them the secrets of racial domination, I gotta first make sure they're gonna use them secrets for the benefit of Africa. So when your daughter show up, she better be snap, cracky, pop, nappy. Because I'm a barber. They taught me how to cut hair in military school. So I'm going to have my clippers. And I'm going to shave her myself in front of you if she don't come natural. I want a natural.
That's right. That's right.
The beauty. Now I've seen a lot of brothers clapping, but some of y'all fake brothers because
Come on, get your
sisters trying to look right, because that's the only thing you want to look at is something that look right. Third grade, 5th, 7th, 9th. When he go on his prom, he taking a nappy sister to the prom.
That's
I've never seen that before. After he graduates, the only woman he can want is a natural woman.
That's right.
And black man, if you never had a forehand, a nappy black woman's hair. Which takes me to my next science. The science of the black man and the science of the black woman. That princess is going to study the man as a science. His hormones, his development, his adolescence. She's going to study his reproductive cycle. She's going to study the changes he goes through as he gets older. And the young men are going to study the woman, her menstrual, her hormones, the cycle of birth, when he should be with his woman, and when he should leave her the hell alone. Because Every black woman got 4 days, just don't even look at me. And black man, you got to know when that is. So if the boys are forced to study the girls, as in science, how could he not respect that after 13 years of studying science? If we want black families, we got to engineer them because we forgot how to treat each other. In so many homes, the woman became the man and the man became the woman. How many women here taking care of grown-ass men? I didn't say a brother who came out the joint with a stripe and trying to get a job and can't. I'm not talking about the ones who try. I'm talking about the ones who could care less if they found a job. There's a difference. But then again, some sisters, if you are an insecure sister with low self-esteem, you don't want your man to work, you want him to stay home, that way nobody can take him from you. I want to break down the IQ test real quick, then we want to take our 30-minute break. During the 30-minute break, after you get your book, you can come up here and I can sign it. No conversations during the 30-minute break. Because some of y'all will get there and try to hold a conversation with 10 people in back for the book. Move it on. All right. Well, we're done tonight at 6:30. We're going to finish, so we'll have 6:30 to 8, 90 minutes for the talk and then the other book signing. And by the way, I don't know if any of y'all in here own any institutions, right? But this is my first time coming to Little Rock. And since we're going to be done here at 8, it's going to be kind of early. So if any of y'all got like a community center or a little club area or something where y'all just go and chill if people want to talk to me or parents got questions for me, anything like that, then I want you to let Sister Talina or Brother Dude know out there so we can announce it before I'm done. So for folks who still want to hang out with Dr. Umar and rap a little bit, we can meet there, all right? So if you know of a place, let them know, and I'll announce it. Free, people just come and chill. Might be music, it might not be. It don't matter. There's a place for us to hang out and just socialize with each other, all right? So if anybody here, even the pastors, we can go to the church. We just got to cover that picture up because I can't do that. There's somebody on Facebook that shit. I look, he's right on the picture. I got a reputation. Okay? Now let's break down the mentally gifted test so we can take our break. The IQ test has 5 IQ scores. When you hear about the IQ score, you're hearing about FSIQ, the full scale intelligence quotient. FSIQ, that's the overall IQ score. That's all most of y'all know. But I need y'all to know that that overall IQ score comes from 4 other scores. First we have processing speed IQ. That's PSIQ. How well your child can hold information in their mind and work on it. Does everybody follow what I'm saying? Like if you got to do a math problem, that's working memory. You got to hold them numbers in your head and subtract and carry and borrow. Working memory IQ. WMIQ. Next one is nonverbal reasoning IQ. What is this? Puzzles, blocks. This is when I give them a design and I give them 5 blocks, 6 blocks, and I say, make this as fast as you can. That's nonverbal. It don't require him to talk. Just think and process. That's nonverbal reasoning. Okay? 4 scale IQ, that's the big boy. And then we got 4. Now I'm missing one. This is the one I want y'all to pay attention to. This one is called verbal, 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 verbal comprehension IQ. That is the one. That is the racially biased IQ score. Verbal comprehension IQ. Can I ask you a question? How can I be considered to have low intelligence just because I can't give you the definition to words that white people use? When you hear about the 15-point black-white test gap, they're talking about verbal, but they don't tell you that because they don't want you to understand it. I need you to understand it. Processing speed, black, white, and Asian are equal. Working memory, black, white, and Asian are equal. Nonverbal reasoning, black, white, and Asian are equal. It is only on the words white people use. Verbal comprehension that you have a deficit. Furthermore, in psychological theory, verbal words, vocab is considered crystallized intelligence. Do you know what that means? That means stuff that you can only learn in school in the first damn place. So then the question is, if the verbal scale is biased, Dr. Umar, why don't they just take it out? Let's talk about that. Right now you got the whites doing better than the blacks. You take out the verbal, what might happen to that damn slope? The black kids might start outperforming the whites. And now we got a problem in Arkansas because if the black kids in Little Rock, on average, have a higher IQ score than the white kids in the suburb, how do you explain all the white kids at the University of Arkansas and so few black kids there? How do you explain all the white kids in med school, in law school, and graduate school, and the black kids not getting accepted? If the blacks are smarter, how do you justify the fact that all the whites have the jobs? I need y'all to understand this as we close on this first session. These tests that they give your children are engineered for them to fail. I know you don't want to believe it, but I want you to understand there's something in testing called standardization. I know because I participated in the standardization for the WIS-4, the most popular IQ test used. I was on that team. Standardization means that you test the tests on the kids before the final tests come out. Stay with me. That means we done already came to Arkansas and we done already tested the black kids on the same test. We know who's going to pass and who's going to fail because that's what standardization is. So when they take the real thing and flunk it, it was already designed for them to do that. Stay with me. Let's take math. When your child takes their state math test, they get about 10 to 15 questions, right? But how many math questions are there in existence? Millions. Who chose those 10? Why didn't they choose another 10? They chose those 10 because the standardization showed that these are the questions where the white kids clearly did better than the black ones. I'm not done with y'all yet. I'm good at my... Let's say in September, all the kids in Little Rock take the same academic scholastic aptitude test, right? And let's say the black kids do better than all the white kids. Guess what happens to that test?
Goes away.
It goes in the damn trash. You will never see a test where the black kids do better than the white because the minute they find it, they destroy it. If you don't believe me, go to the library and get a good book on the history of testing, and you will find that testing was always used to justify access to opportunity. The first IQ test was what? The test in World War I and II to decide who would fight with a rifle and die, and who would stay back in America and file papers in the office, depending on how smart you were. Can I ask you a question? What is the relationship between your MCAT score and your ability to finish medical school? What is the relationship between your LSAT score and your ability to finish law school? What is your relationship between your GRE score and your ability to finish grad school?
Nothing.
Do you know it's almost zero?
Nothing.
Do you know the tests that they give us? All of them have almost no predictive validity. So why do they use them? Because it looks scientific. And it makes you think that the reason why we got so few black folks doing well is because we are intellectually inferior. The truth of the matter is they set up the damn deck. And I'll give you this. I'll give you this. And we'll stop on this. There was a black psychologist one time who got fed up with it. He said, I'm going to create a test to prove. Keep going. Oh, I got 15 more. Oh, cool. Oh, wow, you're right. Okay. I got 88 here. No, that's real. If ADHD was out when I was a kid, I'd have been drugged up because I couldn't sit still. I couldn't pay attention. I got 6 degrees, so if I can get all I got without no damn drugs, I'm sure your son can too. Do y'all follow what I'm saying? The reason why you give him the drugs, because you got better things to do. We don't want to raise him no more. And babysitters are too expensive. But if I give him one of them crack pills, his ass will be like this for out. And you can't debate me on it because this is what I do. This is my expertise. I
I got the white papers in my papers. They ain't want to give me my doctorate last summer. Them damn whites. They fought me. I heard they went on YouTube one day. They said, do you see this? They called the president of the university in. They was looking for a reason to kick me out the program, real rap. They said, we didn't know he was one of them. I ain't changing. I'm staying who I am. Oh no, ain't no booze who I am. Man, I went 3-piece suit with the best of them, but you ain't making me turn on my people. No, I'd rather die first. Y'all say, why are you the only psychologist we know going around preaching this? Because most of them hustling this. Yeah. Even some of your Afrocentric scholars. They cashing in on ADHD, I know. They cashing in on the evals. That's right, they want to know why the hell I don't just shut up and get paid. I'm telling you what I know. Better watch them scholars. Because they love to talk black, think green, and live white.
Right.
That's right. So anyway, this psychologist got fed up. He said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create an IQ test and test white kids on our culture. And so he created a test called the Black Intelligence Test of Cultural Homogeneity. Go look it up in the library, man. Black Intelligence Test of Cultural Homogeneity. Bitch, 100. You see that? So he came to the white folks and said, I got a test for y'all kids, black intelligence. And they looked at it. They said, what is that? He said, bitch, 100. God, somebody call security. I'm not lying, go to the library. That was a real IQ test. The white folks got rid of that. They said, well, hell no. Black folks losing their minds. But let me go a little bit deeper. The only reason why the testing is necessary is because we don't have a separate economic reality for our children to live in after they graduate. Okay? The only reason why they gotta take them damn tests is because we ain't got nothing planned for them. So they are forced to try to swim in a white man's world.
Come on now, come on.
And for those of y'all who can't wait to get your children to college, listen to me carefully. They talking to a man with 6 degrees, 3 masters, 2 bachelors, a doctorate, 3 certs. You should not be sending a child to college unless they meet 3 conditions. Number 1, that you raised them. You raised them. You raised them with enough discipline to finish what they started. That's number 1. A lot of y'all raise broken ass kids, send them to college, and then when they drop out after 2 years of academic probation, you want to get mad at them when you know you never made them the responsible persons they should have been. And if you're raising a black boy, what is your number 1 job? To teach him discipline. What does that mean? Listen. It's the ability to teach your child to do what the hell he don't feel like doing when it got to be done.
Right. Right.
When it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Damn. That means turn off the NBA finals because you got a test tomorrow.
Yeah.
That means your daughter, get off the step and stop gossiping with them girls and come in and get ready for work tomorrow so you're on time. The ability to stop doing what you like and do something that you don't like because it's in your best interest. How many of us can say we gave it to our kids? But the problem with discipline is most of you don't teach it well because you ain't got none yourself. Tell me I'm wrong. Now come to me with that ADHD thing. What's the first thing I said? You got to put them on a 90-day sugar fast. I said, what do you mean? Go home. Anything in the refrigerator or cabinet that got sugar goes in the trash. Now look at me like I'm crazy. I start scratching and itching. Because you addicted to sugar. So you can't get Raheem off sugar addict because you a damn sugar addict. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He's an addict. You raised him into one. Sugar is a drug. It used to be classified as a drug until the sugar companies lobbied Congress to take it off. That's why table sugar look like crack, weigh like crack, they got the same side effects as crack.
Come on. Come on.
That's right. Do your history on sugar. It is a drug. It's only 1 molecule away from crack cocaine. Table sugar is 1 molecule away from crack cocaine, and if you don't believe me, go to the library Monday. I'm not giving you no secrets. 1 molecule away from crack. And some of y'all got 10 pounds of it in the can.
Come on.
Y'all love it so much that when it goes stale, you don't even throw it out. You get a hammer and you break it. Stale, 5 years old. And then you got the #1 destroyer of black boys, high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, shit.
They don't want to hear that.
Some of y'all feed them sugar for breakfast, sugar for lunch, sugar for dinner. Then they go to a school that ain't got no recess and no gym. So they can't even work off the energy they got as young boys. And then somebody want to come tell you they need medication and sit still. That's natural black male behavior. The problem is 93% of America's teachers are white women.
That's right.
So 93%. See, when they desegregated the schools back in the 54, they only desegregated the students. They did not desegregate the staff. They never integrated the teachers. That's why the teachers today are almost exclusively white. So then they want to fly me around. Because you know I normally got to wear a suit and blend in so they don't know who I am. It stops sending white people to YouTube first. Just for black people. Anyway, they bring me around the country and they say, well, Dr. Umar, we need some suggestions because our black males are dropping out, they're getting suspended, they on drugs, this test. I said, there's one thing y'all can do. You can switch Little Rock public schools around overnight. One thing. He said, what is that? I said, give every black boy in Little Rock a heterosexual black male teacher.
Come on.
Your dropout rate will disappear. Your special ed rate will disappear. Your ADHD diagnosis will disappear. Because those boys want men. And they will move a mountain just to please a man. See, boys and girls need an equal amount of masculine energy and an equal amount of feminine energy. The problem with the miseducation of the black male in America is all he gets is feminine energy. He get it from his mother all day. He get it from a white woman all day. His whole life is about feminine energy. He needs a man. You give him a man, you'll balance that thing right on out. But you can't talk about that because we live in a post-racial society. So if you say black boys need black male teachers, that go against the post-racial society. But you know what else it goes against? Job stability for those white women. Are y'all following me now? Do y'all see what's happening? That cannot get discussed. Because if that get put on the table, we might got to get laid off so black boys can be properly educated. In what state? Which means we got to build our own schools. If you can do it, you ain't got no excuses because you make enough money to. Christmas. You can take the Christmas money of Black Little Rock. Your damn white Jesus gifts. You can take the white Jesus gifts, sacrifice them, and guess what you can do? Open up an independent school for every black kid in Little Rock. But do you love your kids enough to do that? You can take your 4th of July money.
Come on.
But your ass shouldn't have been celebrating anyway. I don't understand y'all. Let me see. July 4th, 1776. My great-great-great-great-great-grandma, Betsy Bailey, who raised Frederick, and my grandpa Stephen, she was 2 years old on the eastern shore, Talbot County, Maryland. Do you think she was having a cookout on July 4th? No. Do you think your ancestors was having a cookout on July 4th? No. So what the hell you doing having one? How in the hell do you find time to celebrate your slave master's freedom from his master while you were still his slave?
Come on now. Come on. Come on.
You can take your Easter money.
Come on now.
And give every black high school kid in Little Rock an after school job.
Come on.
You can take your New Year's Eve money.
Come on.
And with your New Year's Eve money, You could probably give every black man in Little Rock who's unemployed a damn job.
Come on.
Black women, you got an $8 billion false hair economy. I'm not knocking y'all sisters because y'all come from another era. You was raised that way and brothers like you looking that way.
Yep.
So I'm not knocking y'all. As long as it look right and don't fall off in the middle, we all right. Just make it cute, baby. Make it cute. Don't let it look out. I want to see the track. Look. But we got to deal with the fact that y'all hemorrhaging money, trying to look like white women.
Right.
And black men, we got to deal with the fact that you hemorrhaging money, trying to get married to a white woman.
Come on.
I had a black woman tell me that, Dr. Umar, my son is in love with white girls. I don't know what to do. I need you to come to the house and talk to him. Da-da-da-da. He said, before I do that, let me ask you a question. Is it possible that he learned to like white women by growing up in a house where his mother tried to become one?
Right.
Because I'm noticing you have contacts in your eyes.
Come on now.
I'm noticing you have a blonde wig on your head.
Come on.
I'm noticing you got a tummy tuck that got you looking like a damn smoker, but you think it's cute.
Come on.
Black women, listen to me. Some of y'all are made thin. Take Talina, she's thin. She's petite. That's her cut, right? Some of y'all got that cut. Some of y'all got an athletic build. Some of y'all got a full figure build. You got to know your natural design.
That's right.
Because some of y'all try to alter it and it messes you up.
All the way.
You cannot have a 50-gallon head on a 2-ounce neck. Because I'm going to know somebody messed with some shit they handle business. Touch it! And then y'all get them surgeries and think you look good. No, you don't.
Come on.
You know how many girls I went to college with I run into now in the streets and they done got the surgery, the tummy tuck? You know when they make your stomach smaller, they put staples in it, then they say the staples can come loose in 20 years?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you know, I said, what you do to yourself? Well, you know, I got, you know, how, no. I'm not into that. I like women with hips, you know, some cut.
All right.
Something. Going out, brothers, when you get married, you got to put that in the marriage contract. No surgeries.
Right.
Sisters, y'all switch the whole game and come home one day looking real anorexic. I want what I'm married. I want what I'm married. But I want to say this to y'all. In about 5 years, I won't even have to talk about special ed or regular ed no more. Not just because I'm going to have my school, but because they getting rid of public school in America. Are they shutting down schools here too? Let me tell you what they doing. In Chicago, they shutting down 60. In Philadelphia, they shut down 40. I ain't been nowhere yet, and I've been everywhere. I just came back from London. They shutting schools down in London. This is what they doing. Why was public school created? To give the corporations a minimally basic educated black person to work. They don't need you to work because they got illegal immigrants to work. So if you got illegal, that's what the whole immigration bill is about. If you got illegal immigrants to work, why are you still educating black kids? There's no job for them. So now they building jails for you. And the immigration bill is all about replacing your ass in the economic order. So everybody got to become criminals again. We going back to the 60s. I hope you paying attention. Y'all got charter schools here? Let me show you how to use charter schools to destroy the public school. Now, if you work at a charter, don't feel bad because it's not your fault. The black charter schools did not know that it was being used against the public schools. So let me tell you how they did. You with me, Queen Mother? Let me tell you what they do. Dr. Umar is going to move to Little Rock. No, hypothetically. Easy, baby. I'm going to have 2 wives now. Got the share, baby. Oh, got the share. Oh. Got the car. Wait. Dr. Umar moving to Little Rock. I'm going to take out an application with the state of Arkansas to operate 3 charter schools in Little Rock. They're going to give me approval. I'm going to get 3 charter schools in Little Rock. in order for me to get my students, now all 3 charter schools are for 500 students each, so that's 1,500. But where they going to come from? They got to come from the public school. So you're the principal of public school number 1. Your school was built for 800 kids, but I just took 400. So now the state going to come in and say, why are we still paying for that school to be open? It was open for 800, it's only 100 left. Shut it down and redistribute the kids. Then I'll come to your school. You public school number 2, built 4,000. I just took 500. Here comes the state again. That school was built 4,000. He only got 500 kids. Shut it down and redistribute. You public school number 3. I'm taking 300 from you. Your school was built for 5. Why are we paying for a 500 student building that only got 200 kids? Shut it down, consolidate. Look what they did. You think Dr. Umar being here with charter schools was a good thing. They used me to shut down 3 public schools.
Right.
And guess what they're going to turn around and do to me 5 years later? Shut my ass down. Let me tell you what they're going to do. And it's happening all over America. You know how many emails I'm getting from Afrocentric charter? Umar, help us out. They're revoking our charter. You want to dance to his tune. And when you're ready to shut you down, you're done. So anyway, 5 years after I shut y'all down, they're going to send me a letter talking about your test scores are too low. Your school ain't making annual yearly progress as defined by former President George Bush and No Child Left Behind. So if your test scores don't go up in a year, we taking your charter for all 3 of your schools. So then I study. I get my kids up, right? I'm confident. I think we can pass. We take the test. I get the letter back. You fail. And I'm like, how did I fail? Because they scored a test and I'm not there when they score. You understand what I'm telling y'all?
Right.
Nobody told me that there was a white developer that got a loan from the bank that your church put their money in.
Right.
That wants my 3 buildings because they want to turn one into a strip mall, and another one into apartments, and another one into a mini mansion complex. Nobody told me. So they made sure I failed even if I didn't. And Umar Johnson, who was moved down here from Philadelphia to open 3 charters, was used to shut down 3 publics, and they got all 3 of his charters shut down 5 years later. They had their cake and they ate it too. 6 years ago, I told people charter schools was being used to destroy public schools. 6 years ago, I said public school would be a thing of the past. What are you talking about? They would never destroy public school. You're an alarmist. You're a conspiracy theory. Look now. Look now, it's called political science, and this is what we're going to teach your kids, political science. I want your kids to know that the reason why AIDS is the #1 killer of black people, black women on the face of the earth, 38 to 58, is because the HIV virus was manufactured in Fort Detrick, Maryland, at the United States Army Bioweapons Lab. It's still there right now with a grant from the Rockefeller Foundation with the express purpose of reducing the world's global African population by 50%. Turned out to be the #1 killer of heterosexual black men. You don't understand your enemy yet. You don't understand white supremacy yet. And if you don't understand white supremacy, nothing else I say to you is going to make any damn sense. Some of y'all think y'all can change the way they treat y'all.
Come on.
Some of y'all think y'all can change the way that they worship. Some of y'all think they can make you an equal. They cannot do it. It is not within their cultural reality to do it. You mean to tell me I've been controlling the world through racism for 500 years and I want to give it up? Because you said God don't want me to do that? Anybody in here ever see the documentary on the Korean takeover of the black hair care industry? When the black man went to the Korean and said, why don't you sell to black people in bulk? He said, we ain't got to sell to y'all in bulk. He said, we build businesses. Y'all build churches. This is what the Korean told the black man to his face. We build businesses. Y'all build churches. We're going to stick to what we do best. And why don't you stick to what y'all do best? So the only way out of this is mass organization. Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, I think one of the greatest of the last leaders, said that if you organize a lot, you get a lot done. If you organize some, you get something done. If you organize a little, you get a little done. But if you don't organize at all, you don't get nothing done. Our problem is that we are too steep in the church model of getting things done, where we put money in a bucket and give the responsibility to somebody at the front of the room who is least likely to do anything about your condition because he don't share it.
Right.
Come on now.
Pastor don't live in your neighborhood.
Come on now.
Your pastor not on public assistance.
Right.
Right?
Your pastor, he paid for his car flat out, Benz, with rims on it. The hell you doing with rims, you pimp? I'm just doing. So we got to organize. One of the things y'all need to do is y'all need to build a independent Black Parents of Little Rock Association. So y'all can do two things. Fight miseducation until the schools close, and then raise money to build your own school.
All right.
We got to do it ourselves. It is not white women's jobs to educate black kids.
All right.
Even those who mean well. I had a white woman ask, she said, Umar, I like you. I said, easy. You know, she said, I like you, but she said, I just have a problem when you say that a white woman can't teach a black child. I am a reading specialist. I believe I can teach reading well. And I said, you're right. You could teach a black child to read well. You could teach them math, you could teach them science, you could teach them any of the subjects required by the state's curriculum. But let me tell you what you can't teach. You cannot teach them how to survive white racism because you never had to do it.
All right.
And the number one thing that a black boy got to be taught is how to keep his emotions under control in the face of obvious disrespect because it can cost him his life, Trayvon Martin. You can't teach him that. Only somebody who lived that can give him that. So what I explained to the white woman is the problem is our concepts of education different. Your concept of education is the imparting of minimum basic skills to a black kid so they can go enslave for a white person for the rest of their life. I said that's totally different from ours. The purpose of education for us is how to acquire, protect, and maintain power. See, I don't want to educate your son so he can go and work for Bill Gates. I want to educate your son so he can take Bill Gates' career. You understand? I'm not educating your daughter so she can go and work under Oprah. I'm going to educate your daughter so she can come up with a black-owned station that actually works for black people. That bankrupts what Oprah's doing.
Right.
Do y'all see the difference?
Yeah.
One is for servitude, one is for ownership. Getting back to college. Make sure they got discipline to finish. Make sure they majoring in something that's relevant to the damn world so they can get a job when they get the hell out. Some of your kids is majoring in ridiculous stuff. You paying $20,000 so your daughter can get a doctorate at the University of Arkansas on how grasshoppers reproduce on the moon during the summer months. Okay, she got a PhD in grasshopper moon reproduction. What job is waiting for her anywhere on the earth for that? Nothing. You sent your son to school to get a PhD. You sent your son to school to get a PhD on how cockroaches hibernate in the fall. Who looking for somebody to keep an eye on cockroaches? Most people trying to kill them. My point is, you got to choose the major with your child. See, when I became a school psychologist, only 1% of all school psychologists were black. So I knew I would eat. I knew I would make a difference. I knew I'd be able to pay off my loans. Because less than 1% of all school psychologists in America look like me. And even those who look like me don't think like me. So I have a monopoly. Okay? But the bourgeois, they trying to train some who could come against me. That's right. But I'm waiting. All right. They won't challenge me. I'm waiting. I'm telling you. Sharpen, Michael, Eric, Dyson, Tavis, ain't none of y'all touching me. That's why they never invite me to Tavis Town Hall Talks. They never invite me. It's the same 5 people. No new blood. Because I'm going to turn that mother out. I'm going to show up with my 3-piece suit and I'm going to kill it. Somebody told me, they said, you should have been a mega church minister. Because you have all the schools you want in 1 year. But I can't go that route, y'all. Because that's not my heart.
Right.
I'm I'm a revolutionary by spirit.
Yeah.
I cannot use the same ties that bind you
That's right.
to free you. See, we better get serious about the time we live in. And then they run around talking about the Zimmerman acquittal wasn't about race. It was about the law. So, you mean to tell me if Zimmerman was black and Trayvon was white, and a black man got out of his car in a white neighborhood and pursued a white teen and shot him straight through the heart 50 yards from his front door, he would have walked?
No, sir.
He'd have been dead that night. But you got all these bougie ass lawyers. Remember I talked about that academic bourgeois? You see them all on CNN, don't you? Well, the reason why black people are upset is they don't understand our American judicial system. Our? When did it become yours? I can't stand when black men try to act like white men. You ever see them around town when the white men show up, they get the bass out their voice? Their pants get real tight, they get all husky with the small jacket on. Laughing at stuff that ain't even funny. Oh, yeah, I heard that, Keith. You gotta organize. If we don't do nothing else in Little Rock, we need to build a black bank or a savings and loan institution. Let me tell you why. Black people are kept in our condition because we don't have access to capital. When Koreans and Asians and Latinos and East Indians get off the boat in a plane, they can go to the bank and qualify for certain immigrant loans. And they can come to Little Rock and open up all types of businesses. And then everybody look at y'all and say y'all lazy because you ain't got no businesses. How is it you've been here for 400 years? They only been here 4 years and they own all the shops. You know what the answer is? They have access to capital. We don't. You go to a white bank and say I need $5,000 for a corner store. You're not gonna get it. You go to a white bank, I need $20,000 for my daycare center. You're not gonna get it. And if you want it downtown, you really ain't gonna get it because they're trying to clear all the black people out of downtown, so you ain't getting no loan to redevelop nothing down there. This is engineered.
That's right.
Now I know I can't convince y'all to spend y'all money with black businesses. And we might not even have enough to do that yet. But I could probably convince you to keep your money in the same place and let it sit till you're ready to spend. Are you following? I might can't convince a black woman not to buy another key, but I could probably convince her to leave her money in this bank until you're ready to buy it. Because in this room, if we add up all of our annual salaries in here, crazy checks and all, right? Put that all together. We probably got about $2 million in this room. Minimum. Minimum. Just us. So what if we all kept that $2 million in the same bank? This brother needs $50,000. He's going to open up a car detailing business. We can float that loan because all of our money in the same place. Sister over here, she's going to open up a natural hair care salon. She needs 20 grand. Brother over here want to open up a school. Sister over there need a loan to put her kids through college. Y'all see that? Everybody in here will get the loan they need because all of our money is tied together in the same institution. That's how you get up out of this. But the problem is black people, as the Honorable Marcus Garvey said, are cursed with petty differences. You bring us together like this, and you got to have a discussion about organizing. The black man's ego is going to get the best of it. And what do I call the black man's ego? EGO, I call it the European God of oppression. Living inside of every black man. You know what's going to happen? Two black men going to get into a dispute, waste the whole damn meeting. They don't give a damn if the rest of us here. They're going to squabble it out, and by the time they find out who won, the place is empty. They ain't even realize. How many of y'all been in meetings like that? Got destroyed with petty arguments because a black man can't control his ego. And black woman, you ain't no better. Because soon when you walk into a room, you got to find a woman you don't like for no reason at all. Am I wrong, Bob? Black woman walk into the room, I don't like her. Do you know her? You went to school with her? She took your... Nah. Well, what is it? I don't know what it is about her. I just don't like her. Well, let me tell you what it is. You're black. She's black. You've been taught to help black people, hate black people. It's post-traumatic slavery, you Negro. You gotta resist that. And black women, y'all suffer because y'all ain't got no unity. Y'all need each other. That's why all the women hanging out at church. It ain't because they love Jesus. They need somebody to talk to, and that's the only place they can find him. No, I'm not picking. I'm just being this is sociological facts. Sociological facts. When a sister get married, she still go to church 2 days, but she ain't gonna be there 6 no more. She got a man now. But see, what the pastor likes to do is he create all these sociological wives. And say he don't support polygamy, that every man should only have one wife and he got 50. What kind of stuff is that? But here's what we got to do. We got to organize block by block the way the Jehovah's Witnesses do it. No, I'm not picking with them. The Jehovah's Witness street campaign is second to none. They're the only black people on earth who you can slam a door in their face and they will smile at your ass. And come back the next day with 2 more watchtowers. If we want to organize black people, we got to do it the same way my grandmama Jehovah's Witness. I know how the game go. You got to do, you know what we want to do? We want to organize black people through Facebook. Organized through Twitter. You can't do it that way. Black people don't have relationships with each other. So you got to get up in our face, knock on the door. How you doing, my brother? You got any sons? Yeah, I got 2 sons. They ever going through anything in the school? Yeah, man, they tried to suspend my son last week. Look, man, it's a group of brothers. We're going to get together tonight, talk, hang out, have some bean soup there, whatever. We want you to come on down with your sons. Now he won't think about it. He might come because you got personal. Yeah. You can't run no revolution on no email list. You got lazy as hell. Nobody want to get out there their butt no more. We got to get up and do this thing. And black men, we got to watch the sexism in the revolutionary community. Too many of our organizations are using women only to clean, take notes, and cook. Black women have a brain too, okay? And they should be able to lead and give their opinions. But the problem is the black man can't stand another black man's opinion, and he really can't stand one coming from a sister. But having said that, black woman, I want to encourage you, don't you go getting involved with that white woman's movement. Too many of y'all feminists running around talking this feminism. I am not your enemy. And you're not mine. We have the same enemy, and it's called white supremacy. We're supposed to be fighting together, not splitting the damn rank. Black man, don't get mad at your woman because she got more education and got a better job. The system is designed that way because she's not the threat. You are. And black woman, you got to understand that the reason why half the brothers in Little Rock ain't got no damn job ain't because they lazy, it's because they can't find one. You need to know that the white man has reversed the gender roles in the black community and has made the man effeminate and has masculinized you. You seen the average educated sister lately? Hold on, baby. Let me open up the door for you. I can open my own door. I got that from the white women. They want to be like white men. You can't be like that. See, black women, listen to me. Y'all the only women on the planet. Y'all the only women on the planet who gotta feel ashamed about being feminine. If the white woman wants a husband, she can say, I'm lonely and want a man. If the Asian woman say she need a man to help her with her kids, she can say, I need a man to help her with her kids. If you got a Latino woman, she feels depressed and she needs somebody to talk to, she thinks she about to just lose it and she feel weak, she can say that. Not y'all. Y'all not allowed to say that y'all lonely. You're not allowed to say y'all need help. You're not allowed to say y'all need somebody to talk to or you're about to have a nervous breakdown. You're not allowed to say you need a man for your kids. You're not allowed to say you want a husband because you look weak. The sisterhood is going to label you as weak. So you got to walk around with this imaginary, super strong X-Men black female persona? Tell me I'm wrong. Don't come to me masculine black woman, come to me feminine. Be feminine. And when you get your education, don't change up who you are. See, remember, the white man benefits from white privilege, but the black man suffers from white racism. I can't get you the same house. that Bill Clinton can get Hillary. I can't get you the same type of car that George Bush can get that white woman he married to. Problem with a lot of sisters is y'all have a superficial ideal of what you want your man to be. Some of y'all pass good men every day, all day, and don't even realize it because he don't meet your Cinderella storybook image of what a man's supposed to be. According to your mom, he got to have on a three-piece suit and a briefcase, and he got to be driving a Maybach, and he got to have 2 swimming pools at his house. Black man can't do that. We can pay the bills, we can keep you happy. We can't do that. And then some of y'all running around telling myself, well, I'm going to get liberated too. Y'all want to date outside the race? I'm going to date outside the race. You better be careful. Because the incidence of bisexuality goes through the roof once you go outside the race. Furthermore, you better understand something. There's an old jungle theory. White men say that you always want to get a little bit of black sugar, so you really know what true sex is like, the jungle myth, okay? And a lot of y'all dating these white men and men of other races, not even recognizing that they're just using you for sex. And when they get tired, they're gonna drop you off. And I know because I've had sisters confess to me. One sister was engaged to a white man, he called her the N-word. The other one called another sister a black bee. See, you think just because you dating them that they still not racist. Do you understand when we say white supremacy? Do you know what that means? It means she can have your kids, black man. It means he can give you kids, black woman, and still consider you their inferior. You got to know racism before you start dipping and dabbing with them. And the other thing, sister, I'm going to tell you this. Brothers got some problems. We got some stuff we need to work on. Brothers, we know it. But I'm going to tell you this. He ain't going to die for you like we will. At the end of the day, when that shit get tough, the men in here will die for you. His white ass ain't dying for you. So you better understand who on your side and who ain't. And then you give birth to all these biracial children. No, stay with me. I want to be clear on my position on this. It's no different than Marcus Garvey. No African is responsible for how they got here.
Right.
I don't care if you got 1 black parent or 2, you're African. Right. I'm not going to judge you based on your white mother or your white father. I'm going to judge you based on the way you think. Just like I'm going to judge the rest of y'all. I don't put our biracial brothers and sisters in a special group. I see them no different from the rest of us. But I also need to understand that historically, the white man deliberately created a race in between that looked like us, but was loyal to him.
That's right. That's right.
He did not take Africa with white armies. He took Africa with mulatto armies. The Greeks and Romans did not take Egypt with white armies. They took it with biracial armies. That doesn't mean that every biracial is a sellout. Some of our greatest leaders were biracial. The first black man to say God was a black man, Bishop Henry McNill Turner, who taught Elijah Muhammad in Georgia. That's where Elijah Muhammad got it from. He didn't create that. He got it from Bishop Turner. That's a fact. He was biracial. John Brown Russell, the first great Pan-Africanist in history, was biracial. Some say Nat Turner was biracial. My ancestor Frederick was biracial. Bob Marley was biracial. We could be here all night.
Yeah.
But you can't help but have some European blood, and you biracial is one of your parents being European, fully. But my point is, we shouldn't practice eugenics amongst us. The reason I want us to stop having interracial children, because as a therapist, I see how bad you're treated by both sides. Y'all following me? Okay? I had friends who were biracial. I dated women who were. And the stories they tell you about how when my grandma would buy Christmas gifts, all the white grandkids would have gifts and none of the black ones would. How my auntie would say, look at them and they nigger naps and why they here. Or the white woman who I did therapy with who told me that her 14-year-old biracial daughter could never meet her Irish mother. She said, you better never bring that into my house. She's never met her grandchild. Or the story I heard when I was over in London when the Italian girl told her father that she was having a baby by a black man, and her father said, how you gonna have a baby with that N? And then her mother called from Italy and said, you are not welcome back home until you do something with that little N. Oh, y'all think because y'all see all these interracial couples that it's over? Y'all don't understand white supremacy. Let me explain something. I had a brother tell me, Dr. Umar, if white men don't like us dealing with white women, why they never say nothing about me when I was with my white queen? I said, let me explain something to you, you fool. The reason why white men don't complain when they see you with white women, because the only white women you're allowed to have are the ones they don't want. Do you really think Kobe's wife would be with him if she could have been with Donald Trump? And do you see what the white women doing now with the athletes? They divorcing them all. See? Tiger Woods can't win no more tournament than that white woman that took half his money. And he running around talking about, I'm not black, I'm Catholic Asian. Caucasian, black, Indian, and Asian, till you cheated on that white woman. And had your ass on the front of Cosmopolitan magazine with a hat on backwards, jeans sagging, and Timberland boots, you fool. Yeah. OJ done behind. I don't know whether he killed the woman or not, but I do know that after he got acquitted, he was in Philadelphia at the All-Star game back in 2000 with 2 more white women on top. I said, what are you doing, you idiot? And now look, he's in jail for stealing his trophy. How the hell am I going to jail for stealing mine? I better understand what's going on out here. We got to learn to be loyal to each other. In conclusion, I want to give you a quote from my ancestor, Frederick Douglass. Well, let me first back up and say, for the parents in here, if you ever have an issue with your child, first thing I want you to do is read my book cover to cover. That's the first thing you need to do. Because you'll probably get the answer in the book if you just read it. In my book, you get the definitions for all the disabilities, the major ones. You get the drugs that they give our kids. You get the side effects. Okay? You get all of that. Whole chapter on how to deal with disruptive behavior. Whole chapter on frequently asked questions. I also got a DVD out there that has the same cover as the book. It is not an audio book. It is a DVD interview that I did just for the book. Okay? But if you ever have an issue with your child that's not addressed in my book, all you got to do is send me an email, drumarjohnson@yahoo.com. Tell me what's going on with your child, and I'll respond to you, tell you how to fight that. If you do what I tell you to do, you will have no problems. But some of y'all can't trust black people.
That's right.
You got to go get a second opinion from a white person. And then they jack you all up.
Yeah.
Then you want to come back to me, and I got to fix you over twice. I'm not going to do that. If you want to disrespect me and go behind my back and go to some white person for advice, stay with their ass. Okay? Stay with it. Okay? I need y'all to know that when your child is evaluated in school and you don't agree with the diagnosis, you have a right to an independent educational eval. You can get your child reevaluated a second time and the school pays for the eval, but you choose the therapist.
Right.
That's the law. Anywhere in America, if your child is tested in school and you don't agree with the conclusion, you have a right to a second eval. You find your psychologist and the district pays. So we got to see if we can find us a black school psychologist in the state of Arkansas who's conscious.
All right.
Okay? Also, I need y'all to tell y'all kids when y'all go home tonight, tell your kids, especially if they're in middle school, public, private, parochial, or charter, if you're ever called to the office and question about anything that can get you in trouble, tell the principal, vice principal, dean of students, whoever, I don't feel comfortable answering these questions without my parents being present. Too many of your kids are being arrested in school by school cops, and then they take you to the regular jail, not even being told that this can incriminate you in the real court. Okay, the principals are misleading them. Tell them to be quiet. They have a right to what is the Fifth Amendment? Or is the Fourth Amendment? Right to remain silent. That's the Fifth. They have a right to remain silent in school. Tell them that. If you don't feel comfortable, don't answer. Say, I want to talk to my mother. And then you get on the phone with my father. Dad, I don't feel comfortable. Can you come down here while I answer this? And you better make them wait for you to come. Tell the principal, I'll be there after work. You ain't got to leave right now. Stop making them make you leave your job. Stop that. Excuse me, I'm at work. I will be there when it, well, we need you to come down now. I'm not coming now, and there's no law. There's no law. There's no law that requires me to leave my job this second, and I'm not. Now, he can go back to class, or you can put him in a special room, but I'll see you when I get there.
Right.
Stop jumping at their damn beck and call. They do not do that to the white parents. You're talking to somebody who worked in the school. White parents, they will wait till the end of the school. They don't wait for you. You know why? The assumption is you're unemployed anyway. Are y'all following me? Oh, they don't work. They can come anytime. Just make them come. And then you keep running to the school every time they call you. Now you have created a habit of them being able to force you in whenever they feel like it. You better stop. What's the other thing you better do? If you think your child is mentally gifted, write a letter to the principal requesting a mentally gifted evaluation. Once you get the evaluation, if they say your child is not gifted, fax it to me. I'm going to give you all my fax number. Fax it to me. I'll look at it and tell you what I think. And if it looks like a misdiagnosis, we're going to get them reevaluated again by a black, or at least a white we can trust. Okay? What else do y'all need to know? If your child is in special ed and you don't feel Little Rock Public Schools is properly educating your special ed child, you can make them pay for your child to go to a private school for free. That is federal law. White parents do it all the time. Black parents don't like fighting for their kids because you too damn lazy. If you can prove that your son been in special ed for at least 2 years and he still can't read after 2 years of special ed, you call an IEP meeting, and on the NORAC, you say, I want a private school. And Little Rock is going to say, we ain't paying for no private school. We think we're doing a good enough job with your special ed kid right here in the regular school. And then you're going to go to the State Department of Education website right here in Little Rock, and you're going to file a due process complaint, and you're going to write a due process special ed complaint, and then they're going to send a hearing officer to the local school, and you're going to be in a regular classroom, and the hearing officer is like the judge, and he's going to hear your complaint as to why you think Little Rock needs to pay for a private school. Then he's going to hear the principal complaint as to why they think Little Rock shouldn't pay. And if you stick to your guns, your child will be going to a private school for free. That's those $20,000 a year schools, door-to-door service, if you can prove that they didn't teach. But I need all y'all to start keeping better records. Y'all don't keep good records. You should have a little notebook in your pocket. It can be the same size as this, and every time somebody call you from the school, write it down. 2 o'clock, she called me and said, Raheem had a good day. 5 o'clock Wednesday, she called me and said, Raheem had a bad day. Everything goes in, because those notes will come back to save you one day. You just told me last week my son was having a good day. I had it written here. Now you're saying he's the worst kid in the school. Which one is it?
Yeah.
Also, a special ed child in America can only be suspended for a maximum of 10 days. Special ed child in America can only be suspended for a maximum of 10. Your special ed child been suspended more than 10. I hope you was writing the dates. I hope you're not relying on the school to keep the dates, because let me tell you what they do. You're talking to a former principal. Your son was suspended 20 times, but we only recorded 5 because we knew we would get in trouble if we went past 10. So when you come up to the school saying, I need a printout of my son's suspension dates because I just found out from Dr. Umar that y'all can only suspend him 10 days. And I know he's been suspended more than 20. Let me get it for you. They're going to print it out, and you're going to see 4 damn dates. And you're going to say, I know he's been suspended 20 days, but you never wrote the dates down. So you ain't got nothing to stand on. Your ass been hoodwinked, because when the principal called you, he said, come get Umar. We're not going to put it on his record because we don't want it to look bad. Just come take him out early. We're going to call it an early dismissal. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Come get him for early, and then they start adding up, and then you're like, I'm tired of these early dismissals, because this ain't nothing but a fancy-ass suspension. But you decided to dance with the devil, and now you don't have it documented because you're lazy behind and got no notebook. So when it comes time to make a complaint, you stuck. White people keep excellent notes on their kids. Y'all call me up, Dr. Umar, I need you to look at my record. Okay, let me see the eval. I don't know where I put it. You don't have none of your son's eval? I don't know. When was the last IEP meeting? I don't know. You don't know nothing. How the hell am I help you win the case when you ain't even got no paperwork for me to look at? Stop being trifling. A lazy black parent, a lazy black parent, a lazy black parent is like having no parent at all.
That's right.
Your children are under attack. You can't afford to be lazy. White folks can do that. And the last thing I'm going to say before my break is this. People keep calling me up, interviewing me for these newspapers about corporal punishment. Is it okay to spank children? Let me deal with this real quick. My father was a drill instructor for the United States Marine Corps. I got 5 brothers. 5 boys total, including me. Nobody ever had ADHD in my house. I can never come home and tell my daddy I think I have conduct disorder. I got my ass whipped. No pills, no therapy, good old-fashioned discipline. Here's my take on corporal punishment. If you are spanking your child, beating your child, or cursing your child every time they do something wrong, that's child abuse. And I will report your ass, because I'm about the kids. I'm gonna give you a warning, then I'm gonna dial you up, because I don't play with that stuff. The child come to me saying your boyfriend sexed them up, I'm calling. And I'm calling in front of your face. That's how I do it. I don't sneak. White people sneak. I'm going to say, look, sit down. You can call them for yourself, or I'm going to call them. Or somebody call them and say. You don't ever have to put a hand on your child to effectively discipline. The reason why most of y'all got to spank your kids is because y'all take breaks from parenting. Little Rock water good. Okay. Stay with mothers, dads too, but especially mothers. Monday, he messed up, he got a consequence. Tuesday, he messed up, he got a consequence. Wednesday, he messed up, he got a consequence. Thursday, scandal came on. You ain't had no time for no consequence. Friday, he messed up, he got a consequence. Saturday, you going out with your girls. No consequence. You are being inconsistent. Behavior don't change when you're being inconsistent. That's what's going on here, black people. You don't have to whip your kids. And if you verbally assaulting them, that ain't nothing but it affecting their psychological health and their self-esteem. You don't change behavior by calling your kids names. The next time I hear a black woman talking about something, you just like your father, I'm going to handcuff your ass. No boy should have to hear that. Okay? He's not his dad. I know he looked just like him. He got the same big ass head, big feet, but that's not him. He the remix. Father, same thing. You should not be punching your son in the chest every time he do something wrong. We got to learn to talk to our kids. Reason with them. Was that correct? No, it wasn't. Okay, what are you supposed to do? Okay, next time you know what I got to do. Okay? That's all you do. You reason with him. Stop yelling and shouting and never give a consequence while you upset. Because you know what you're going to do? He's going to make you mad. You know what you're going to say, Mom? You're going to say, you know what? You didn't get me so mad. You are on house arrest. The whole summer. You can't go outside. And then you go back to your room and you sit down and think about what the hell you just said. If he can't go out all summer, I can't go out all summer. So now you go back to him and say, just forget about it. And he gets off scot-free because you gave an emotional consequence. All you got to do is tell them they have a consequence coming. And once you decide what it is, they will know. In the meantime, send his ass to bed on. Mom, okay, what's going on? You had no right to use a profanity at your sister. So you're going to get a consequence. I don't know what it is yet. But in the meantime, you're going to go to bed early. And you're going to say, ain't that the consequence? And you're going to say, no, that's the pre-child arraignment. We'll get to the arraignment. But y'all got to stop feeling like you got to give a consequence now. Same thing I tell classroom teachers. You can't think of no consequence on the moment. Just let them know you got one coming. The other thing you got to stop doing, parents, stop showing favoritism. Stop showing favoritism. Some of y'all treat some of y'all kids better than the other ones because they come from a certain mother or a certain father. Stop it. Stop it. Grandparents, I'm going to get on y'all too because some of y'all are light-skinned supremacists. Bro, let me tell you what light-skinned supremacist is. It's not a light-skinned person. Light-skinned supremacist can be a dark-skinned person. The bottom line is a light-skinned supremacist is an African who thinks that color worship is somehow in their best interest. Let me give you an example. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. He's blue, black, purple, but he's a light-skinned supremacist. He don't want nobody around him if they don't pass the brown paper bag test. In fact, he's even married to George Bush's cousin. That's how much he hates his son. Remember I told you about teaching him loyalty before you teach him anything else? Yeah. So when I say light-skinned supremacists, in my own personal experience, most light-skinned supremacists have been dark-skinned people. I got some light-skinned kids I got to walk home from school because the dark-skinned kid's going to beat them up for being light. They ain't said nothing about nothing. But just because they light, they got to get beat up. Because the dark-skinned kids got an inferiority complex. So it can go both ways, people. But getting back to my grandparents, some of y'all only want to hang out with your light-skinned grandkids. And some of you parents in here, you condone it. You know your mother only want that daughter because she got the good hair. You know your father only want to hang with this grandson because he got hazel eyes. He never took the other ones nowhere, and you let your trifling ass father mistreat your son. I'm seeing too much light-skinned supremacy. I got kids who come to me crying, Dr. Umar, I can't take it no more. What's wrong, Princess? My grandma never takes me with her. It's always my other two sisters. I said, are you disrespectful to your grandma? No. I be asking her if I can go. So why you think she's not going? Because I'm dark-skinned with nappy hair. The kids know. Some of us grew up in houses like that, right? Both sides of my family light-skinned supremacists. I didn't become famous till I got my degrees. Now everybody want to claim my ass. Oh, this is my nephew. Get the I don't know you. Get out of Nah. We ain't playing that type of party. You ain't never come to none of my graduations. Now everybody want to take a picture with the great nephew. No, mother. Our babies come out, y'all still be looking behind their ears to see how dark. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all hold the baby first thing I do is roll the kitchen to see how tight it is. Stop practicing light-skin supremacy. In conclusion, my ancestor, Frederick Douglass, said, if there's no struggle, there's no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and deprecate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain, but can't stand the thunder or the lightning. They want ocean, but can't deal with the awful roar of its waters. He said the struggle we have might be moral, or it might be physical, or it might be both moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. He said, find out what any people will quietly submit to, and you have found the exact measure of injustice that will be used against them. He said, the limits of tyrants are prescribed by the people who they oppress. We decide how badly our enemies treat us, not them. He said, for 20 years I prayed on my knees to God for freedom, but the good Lord gave me no freedom. Gave me no freedom until I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet. He said, if you want respect, stop looking for pity. He said, the man who respects you doesn't have a need to pity you, and a man who pities you could never respect you. He said, if a man is laying on his face on the ground, leave him there until he's man enough to get up on his own 2 feet. Because if he's not and you pick him up, he's going to smash right back down. So you didn't help him, you hurt him. Leave him down so he's ready to stand. My family was brought to America, 1701. Black man by the name of Bailey, stolen most likely from the Igbo nation of Nigeria. He married a black woman by the name of Selah, for whom my baby daughter is named. They had a daughter by the name of Jenny in 1745. Jenny gave birth to a daughter by the name of Betsy Bailey 2 years before the Declaration of Independence, 1774. Betsy Bailey married a free black man by the name of Isaac. Together they had about 13 children. She remained a slave, as did her children, because in slavery the condition of the children was based on the condition of the mother. So she had a daughter named Harriet. She had another daughter named after herself, young Betsy. Harriet was raped by the slave master who owned our family, a white man by the name of Aaron Anthony of Irish descent. He raped Harriet, and on February of 1818, the greatest black leader of the 19th century was born. His name was Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. At the age of 20, he would drop our family name of Bailey and pick up Douglas to evade capture under the fugitive slave law, which allowed you to be brought back to your master no matter where you fled to. The very next year, Aaron Anthony raped Harriet's younger sister, my great-great-great-great-great-grandma, young Betsy, giving birth to Frederick's brother and cousin, Stephen Henry Bailey, on July 1st of 1819. They were brothers because the slave master was the dad. They were cousins because their mothers were sisters. When the Civil War started, Frederick Douglass sent his two oldest sons, Lewis and Charles. They fought in the Massachusetts 54th Colored Regiment. If you ever saw the movie Glory, Morgan Freeman stars as the older son of Frederick Douglass, but he doesn't play him by name. But then again, there was a lot of things wrong about Glory, like for the fact that the movie led you to believe that all the men who fought in the 54th were escaped slaves. How about none of the men who fought were escaped slaves? They were all free blacks who voluntarily enlisted to fight for the freedom of their brethren down here in the South. My grandfather, Stephen, fought with the 7th Regiment U.S. Colored Troops of Maryland. He fought with his firstborn son, my great-great-great-grandfather, George Washington Bailey, the nephew of Fred Douglass, born to him from his wife, my grandmom, Caroline. They fought in one of the most bloodiest regiments of the Civil War. After it was over, George Washington Bailey, my great-great-great-grandfather, the nephew of Frederick Douglass, became the first black public school teacher in Talbot County, Maryland. He married a black woman by the name of Annie Wayman. They had a daughter named Caroline. Caroline relocated from Maryland to Philadelphia to live with her sister after the passing of her parents. She had a daughter named Vivian. Vivian married a Cuban immigrant by the name of Cicero Noel. my Spanish-speaking great-grandfather who could speak no English. They had a daughter named Ida. Ida married James Johnson. They had a son named Jamal. On August 21st, 1974, I was born, the 11th generation descendant of the first of my family to be brought here. Religion is fine. Knowledge itself is better. Are you teaching your kids those myths and fairy tales? Teach them their ancestors. Because our culture is based on remembering our dead because they never died. You're taught in the mosque and in the church that these little naked white boys with wings called angels keep a watch over you. That's not our culture. In our culture, our ancestors are our angels. And every one of you got two ancestors from your tree whose job is to look after you and come to your assistance, but they can only come when you call them. And so our culture is based on calling on our ancestors. That's why the sister poured libation. And that's why all of you need to think about building an altar in your house. It can be a small table like this. This is your ancestors' place. So when they come to your house, they got their own space. If you got an extra room, it should be in that room. But if you ain't got an extra room, it can be a table just like that. You get you a vessel of water. Water is important because the ancestors traveled through water. Then you get your incense because they like stuff that smells good. Then you get you a plant because that represents life. And you take water from the vessel and you pour it into the plant, and then you got to get you an ancestor bell, something that jingles. So when you sit down at the altar to talk to your great-grandmama or your niece or your nephew or your auntie who passed away, you jingle the bell. That lets them know that you want a conversation. And then you put a candle up there. Normally white, but I know black people tired of white. So get a black one. And you light the candle and you literally talk to your ancestors. Ask them for help. You got a great grandma who used to run a business and yours ain't working? Why you ain't called on her for help? You got a great grandfather who was married for 60 years through slavery. You're about to get a divorce. You don't want to lose your wife. Why you ain't called on him for help? In our culture, when we die, we're freed from the physical and we become more supernatural. And when we die, we still hover around our living relatives. That's what spirituality is. It amazes me how so many of you call on people you don't even know. Right? And never once call on your own. You got 4 trees to call on, 4 roots you stand on. Mom, that's paternal grandma, and dad's dad, paternal granddad. How many generations back can you go? It sounds like a lot of us need to join the African American Genealogical Society so we can track our damn roots. Because if you don't know their names, you can't call them. You better learn how to pick up that water in the morning, and you better teach your children how to talk to their ancestors, because in our culture, the babies and the elders are the closest to that realm. Because the children just came from it. Because in our culture, everybody sitting in front of me right now is an ancestor reborn. Reincarnation is an African thing. But you don't know who you are. You don't know what your destiny is because you don't know what you did before you came back. And the only way you're going to do that is to study your family tree. Start getting them records. You should be able to piece together your family tree and teach your kids who they are. Their ancestral DNA. We love to call on Marcus Garvey and Harriet Tubman. We love to call on Ida B. Wells and Shaka Zulu, but they're not your goon. They're your goon, collective racial ancestors. But how do you get to them? Well, you ain't dealt with your own family that passed over. We got to get back to the basics. Frederick said, power conceives nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. Ashe. The books are 20.
I was gonna say I got it hard. Transfer it.
DVDs, I got 15 different DVD titles. They 1 for 15, 2 for 25, and the posters are 5. How long are we going to break those? 5:42. 30 minutes. So we're going to break until 6:15. Get out the direction. Get your book, I can sign it. There's food.
Ladies and gentlemen, back to the kitchen.
Got a wing crowd. Waiting to eat.
Chips and a drink for $3. Nachos and a drink for $3. Chips and drink for $3.
Problem is, right.
Chips and drink for $4.
I got a
definitely my problem, man. I go tired of talking to people. They going off the top of their head, off what they believe, what they think, and they don't read that. Facts to back it
I'm gonna call you and you have my number.
You stay out here,
In Palm Bluff right now, but I'm about to
okay, that's cool. Not too
maybe
far away.
Hot Springs. I ain't made up my mind yet.
Man, I'm seeing how these out here in Little Rock, they got me wanting to move out this way. There's no conscious community in Hot Springs.
No.
At all. And it's like they never will.